Well, we missed a whole bunch of our Assassin's Creed talk.
Yeah.
We're recording now.
Do you want to run it back or no? Just
I'm not going to say that again.
We promise it's really good.
No, we're not. I am not willing to promise that anything I say
That's
is
a shame.
good.
That was some of our best work.
Guys, I had the world's spiciest burrito last night.
Whoa, now that's a
So-
spicy topic.
So I'm actually going to stink up Brad's house today.
Luckily, podcasts are not in smell-o-vision yet, am I right? Because if they saw us, they'd know we stink.
Well, maybe you. I
We
bathe.
look great.
I think we're doing all right.
I'm sunburned.
look like shit. I have a pimple the size of Montana coming in on my cheek right here.
Oh, yeah.
And I can see it.
It's just like it's going to be an erupting volcano.
Yeah, it's like under the skin too, so I can't do anything about it. I haven't shaved.
Yeah, man, I remember what it's like to be 13.
For those that didn't know, Tyler is only 13 years old.
Very mature for your age.
Started drinking real young.
Yeah, well, you have to. It's Wisconsin.
Yeah.
He
Started when I was,
has
7.
the Jack disease from Robin Williams films.
From the Jack disease from Robin Williams films. In every movie he's ever in, he has Jack's disease.
And it's when you party with Bill Cosby in a tree fort and you French kiss Fran Drescher.
That sounds wildly specific.
Have you not seen Jack?
Have you never seen Jack?
I don't think so.
It's a Francis Ford Coppola classic. It's probably better than Apocalypse Now and the Godfather trilogy combined.
Honestly, I still think Jack is pretty fucking
I don't think I've
good.
seen Jack.
It's fine.
I don't know jack shit about Jack.
Hi.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hair of the Dogcast, your favorite podcast about
you think?
beer and video games and beer and
Those
Call
are
of
two
Duty
specific things.
and banging someone's mom, because that's all about Call of Duty.
Yikers. Okay, I see what you did there. I wasn't
Yeah.
sure where you're going, but I get it now.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be talking about Call of Duty here in a little bit,
And a long bit.
and a long bit.
That's
'cause
like an hour and a half away.
we have been doing Indie Games Month. So it has been a hot minute.
Part of the Tokyo Beat Podcast Network.
Oh,
Check out
yeah.
all the other amazing shows.
Thank you.
Yep.
We've been doing Indie Games Month for the month of July. So it's been a hot minute since we've done a traditional Dogcast.
Yeah, we skipped the news last time because it was also the Dogcast Direct Summer Showcase.
Yeah.
I missed this. I missed
Yes.
this one.
So we got news coming at you. The console critters are back.
Yeah. Oh, man. Chad Xbox is talking about the Chad Xbox Core today.
Oh, here we go.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And Nintendo doesn't have a lot. Spoiler alert.
They're either just banging hard or like, we're out.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. And real quick at the top, I discovered something that I thought was pretty neat.
Oh, no.
PlayStation Q. Do you know why it's called the PlayStation Q?
Why?
Because it's just the reverse of a P. PlayStation. Like if you flip a P, it's a Q. Get it? They're so clever.
A lowercase q.
Yes.
So does that make it better than the garbage it looks like?
I don't know how it affects it, but the people at Sony are real clever.
I'm so excited to not play that.
Yeah. What's the Q again?
We'll get into it.
It's the Joy-Con attachment.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Or it's not even Joy-Cons. It's like a handheld PlayStation for your bedroom.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about it here in a bit. But
But we're drinking today. Before we get
Yes.
anywhere, we're only going to have one drink we're going to specifically talk about. This is a Spaghetts.
A spaghetti.
Oh,
This
it is?
High Life with a little Campari.
are you serious?
Yep, and it's been on the Discord, so I thought I'd throw you guys one together.
Hey, that's pretty good.
That's solid.
Yeah, it's refreshing, and it's like an aperitif, a digestif.
It's called Spaghetti.
It's called Spaghetts.
Okay. I've been reading
Tim
it
and Eric?
in Discord as spaghetti. In my brain.
It's yeah, just short a letter.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Why
that makes a lot more
what
sense.
does it mean?
It means hipster ass high life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they'd put Malort in there if they could.
Man,
God, that'd be terrible.
I actually kind of like Malort.
It tastes like boiled
You
leather.
are sadistic.
It's not bad if you have like a shot.
I'll give it a shot.
So Blizzard held a live stream. We're going to jump into some news.
News.
A disastrous live stream.
Did they?
Blizzard held a live stream on the 28th going over what Diablo 4 players can expect from the game's upcoming 1.1.1 patch.
Uh-oh.
It is probably news to nobody because it's been all over Reddit and the internet that Blizzard really fucked up that game pretty hard.
Yeah.
They nerfed everything across the board.
Made enemies more beefy.
Players felt the patch nerfed everything and made the game grindier than it already was. And I've played a solid bit of it. It's pretty grindy already.
Yeah.
Player power was reduced across the board, all classes. XP earned for various activities was reduced. Status effects like vulnerability.
Correct.
God, that's hard to say.
Vulnerability.
It's like jewelry. It took me like 25 years to not say jewelry.
Well, you've also got the famous Joe Biden speech impediments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Status effects were nerfed, and
the famous Joe Biden speech impediment.
Yeah.
He mumbles a little bit.
He famously has speech impediments. He talks about it.
Yeah, and I think that's cool to talk about it.
Which also makes him sound more dementia laden than he already is.
But hey, brother, he's sharper than ever.
Me and Corn Pop.
Man, there's just been a lot of politicians just like freezing or getting confused lately, and it makes me scared.
Yeah.
It's fine, man. It's cool. It's funny.
Cool having 90-year-olds forget how to wipe their butt on live television that are running our country.
It's just naturally what happens to somebody when they turn 105.
If you can't beat them, put a pillow over their head.
Tyler?
Blizzard acknowledged that the changes weren't great and promised to never release a patch of that nature ever again.
Why'd they do it in the first place then?
Because they dumb.
No, there was a reason.
I think that in lead up to season 1,
people were beating their game too quick.
We need them to stay longer. Do something.
Yeah.
Just make enemies tougher and make them weaker.
And
it's the dumbest update I've ever heard.
They also reduced XP, which once you get far enough in the game, takes a while to level up. So
it's true.
The game's already grindy. They made it grindier. They were like, we're sorry, guys. We're never going to do this again. I promise. I'll never hurt you again.
Until next one.
Yes. And trying to fix what they've done, they said they would fix things and roll back a bunch of the changes. The big ones being for the Sorcerer and Barbarian classes. If any of you guys are out there, you guys are going to get some love. They are also trying to eliminate the Kiss Curse mechanic, which I didn't know had a name, but it's very prevalent in the game, where you'll get a really cool power-up. Like, say you get an additional Hydra that spawns. Mm-hmm. That's the Kiss. The Curse is your duration of Hydra is reduced. And there seems to be a lot of power-ups in the game that use this, where they reward you and take something away.
Yeah, I use like a shadow-imbued Daggers rogue character with dash, so I infect a lot of enemies, and when they explode, they pass the infection, a little bit like rabies for the druid.
I use rabies.
Yeah, and I noticed after certain patches that like shit was dropping off. I could clear rooms like that with this mechanic because you get really good at it, but immediately I was just like, for some reason, my rogue is not doing what he should be doing.
Yeah.
And I had all leveled items.
And what Blizzard doesn't seem to understand...
pisses me off.
Brad,
I know, Brad.
What Blizzard doesn't seem to understand...
Brad's going to break his copy.
is the game is the most fun when you get to the point where you can level a room with like the perfect combo.
Yep.
Like my Poison Werewolf build, when I just fucking... destroy a room, I feel a real sense of accomplishment because I made that character.
Is the man poisonous before he turns into the werewolf?
No,
he
gets
before
rabies.
he wolfs out. He gets
rabies.
I have rabies.
You have rabies.
Yes.
It's a rabies.
What about
bite.
the game though?
The game, it effectively has rabies now because of the patch that makes it dog shit, but they'll fix that. I think they'll cure it before Lockjaw sets in.
I just don't. I understand that this is a live service model game, but it is such a single play, like couch. To me, this is prime like couch co-op.
Yes.
My wife enjoys it, and it's just fun to screw around, get your abilities up, discover new ones, kind of mix and match and play. I've had a lot of issues of it not keeping my attention.
Yeah, I've struggled to stay focused. I mean, Indie Games Month didn't help, but
no.
Now that I can play other games, I don't really want to go back to Diablo because of the patch. So it's going to be another.
I guess you just have to finish Inscription.
Yeah, well,
he doesn't have to. Let him have a break.
He's 2 hours away from it, dude.
Let me live my life.
No. I think that this was a poor choice all around, but it also really shows you that Blizzard itself isn't what it used to be. They're making some really strange choices behind closed doors. And I think they understand that they've got one of the best-selling games of the year, obviously, and of Blizzard's best-selling games in history. It's the best, right?
I think it might be. I think one of the World of Warcraft
fastest selling.
I can't remember if it beat that Cataclysm was World of Warcraft.
Oh,
yeah, big one.
I seem to recall, but I remember. I mean, I don't know. This is just such a blunder. And when I'm playing mainly what I would consider a single player game, even though there are other people running around and in the main world, you can kind of interact with them and do the same raids and stuff. When you get into those dungeons, it only matters who you got with you.
Yeah.
That's it. And then it scales the enemies to how many players are there, right? So I'm constantly like, I don't want to be jerked around in what I consider ostensibly to be a single player game. Like, my abilities should remain, you know?
Yeah. Needless to say, they really kind of screwed the pooch on this one.
Mm-hmm.
So
they were very apologetic. I watched the whole thing.
I didn't write down the day, but it is the first week of August. This is supposed to all roll out and be fixed, so it's still we still got some time of suffering in the Diablo world.
First week of August. When this comes out, it'll be August 1st, or August 2nd.
Yeah.
So hopefully.
In other MMO news, Final Fantasy XIV is finally heading to the Xbox the spring of next year after being a PlayStation exclusive since 2014.
I didn't see the presentation, but I hear it was funny because they were having this event in LA, and then Phil Spencer comes out on stage and like people weren't cheering at all. It's kind of like that awkward, but it is very cool that Final Fantasy XIV is now coming to Xbox. I think it's Q2 or it's spring of 2024.
Yep.
And
I don't know how you play this game without a keyboard.
You can use a keyboard on an Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a really nice one, like one with like, because when I played 14, I had all the shit hotkeyed.
Yeah.
And then all I had, it was literally just like a command station, its own special like keyboard, and it was awesome. But I suppose you could do that. I wonder what this install base would look like, because
it's going to be crossplay like everything, so that's cool. Yeah. And if it's on Game Pass, I would check it out. But
you would hate it.
I'm not going to buy it, but I would be curious to see it. Also, big in that presentation, Square Enix said, we look forward to releasing a lot more games on the Xbox and working on our relationship going forward. They pretty much said we want to bring every game we can to the Xbox, which is
for fucking Final Fantasy 16.
Which is speak for we have certain agreements. We can't bring everything, but
it's fine. I'd love to play 16, but I've got shit to buy that has nothing to do with it.
We'll play it eventually.
I think they're also kind of reading the writing on the wall. This exclusivity nonsense that we keep falling for every single time is really starting to wear thin on gamers.
Yeah. That's why everyone just gets a Switch.
Yeah. Everything
will be there eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of a big deal. They said the beta for this will be open in the coming months. It's going to run 4K graphics, faster load times. So it seems like it's going to be a pretty big deal. I know a lot of people that I used to work with in Orlando that play this game religiously.
Can I import my characters?
I don't know.
Can I import Malbec?
Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn. When did this come out, Dylan?
A Realm Reborn would have been...
When did Final Fantasy XIV really...
Final Fantasy XIV came out in 2013.
Yep.
So we're talking about a game that's 10 years old that is we got it on the Xbox, which is cool, but it's also this is a 10-year-old.
A Realm Reborn was the redo.
Yeah, because they botched it so hard on the...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then they really upgraded story content and stuff, if you can really call it a fucking story. But, and then they've had consecutive, cool things released and stories that apparently are way better that I never got to get to. But.
Yeah, and apparently Xbox players will be able to complete everything from the start of the game to the most recent Endwalker expansion without needing to interact with other human beings even. So I don't know if there's going to be a break between PlayStation, PC, and Xbox.
Here's the issue. Maybe they'll give you bots who perform
the
roles.
the duty support system.
Oh my God. I tried that. It was abysmal.
Really?
Yeah. Nobody knows. Like, bosses become like significantly harder because in these raids, you have to know exactly how you split your usage of spells and everything. I don't trust an AI to do that. AI in video games is still crap. So I don't know. Duties are essentially like dungeons. So you need a party of 4, usually 2 DPSs, 1 healer, and 1 tank.
Yeah.
So you're going in there. Everyone has to kind of work together. I prefer chat because I'm not a fast typer, but also I played it a lot on mushrooms. People weren't happy with me, but it's a very at the core of the gameplay. It is super focused on teamwork. So if you can't tell other people what to do or what you need from them, that's going to suck.
It's like jumping into a warthog and the computer's driving it and they're just fucking doing nothing right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. You can't rely on computers. That'd be cool, though, if they put ChatGPT in there and they were like saying they want to fuck your mom, but it's just an AI chatbot.
So that way you get the authentic experience.
That's what you really want, you know?
Yeah, at the end of the day.
If no one's calling me horrible epithets, what are we really doing here?
I'm just glad my mom is pleased.
That's great. I'm Dylan.
Star Wars Outlaws totally won't be a unfinished 300-hour RPG.
I like that. I like that as a headline.
Yes.
We totally won't be that.
We promise we won't be fuck-ups.
Well, it came out...
Trust us.
Brad, you're currently playing Odyssey, right?
We'll talk about it.
How big is that map?
It's the biggest map of a game I've ever played, probably.
How would you like that to be double?
It doesn't. I mean, those are words.
Yes.
Saying something is double are words that are hollow because you don't know what that means.
What's it
might
gonna
be
be
like,
filled with?
ooh, you got a speeder bike that goes over most of the map and there's nothing to do on a lot of the map. If there is as much content per, like, for every, square foot, because there's a lot in Odyssey.
Yeah.
See that mountain? You can go there.
Yep. You're going to go kill a captain. You're going to kill a pole mark. You're going to loot 2 treasures, and that's the fucking mountain. And you go there, and you do that. And same thing. You do the same thing. But, okay, it's a big map. We don't know what's on the map. We don't know the content of this map for Star Wars. I like that they're big. Planets are huge.
And you're apparently supposed to be able to
And flat.
get in your spaceship.
Very flat. Circular. The water falls off into space.
No.
there's an ice
giant
wall.
glaciers.
It's an ice wall?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an ice wall. Yeah.
Damn it.
Get educated, man.
Get educated, man.
And
That should be a t-shirt.
not even pilots
I
know
want it
because
to
they
be a-
reroute you, or you don't even get a chance to see
Yep.
the ice wall.
I want it to be a flat Earth picture, and then Sonic saying "Get educated, man," and it'll be the new Tyler shirt.
Honestly,
Hell yeah.
I will make that.
educated.
I've never been more inspired to make a shirt for this.
Recently, at San Diego Comic-Con, creative director Julian Garrity and narrative director Naveed Kavari
Nailed it.
were asked about the claim that the upcoming Ubisoft Star Wars open world game might be the size of 2 Assassin's Creed Odyssey maps. Obviously, this was met
I
with...
like that they're speaking in Odysseys now. It's like this is like 10 9/11s.
But you know, like,
It's like this is 2 Odysseys.
like how in some games, like the map is very big, but there are like pathways carved out that
Yeah.
actually fill space with like nothing you can explore. Like
Horizon
even like
Zero Dawn.
Diablo 4
Yep.
is another great example. It's just like you can say it's bigger by adding filler.
Yeah.
It could just be mountains that you can't traverse.
And I mean, they're also admitting like this is not a 300-hour RPG. It's not going to be a game dense with things to do. It's hopefully a little more refined and curated.
Oh, they said our objective is to really get people into a very dense, rich adventure open world that they can explore at their own rhythm. So it's absolutely not a 200 or 300 hour epic unfinished RPG. This is a very focused action adventure RPG that will take people on a ride that is very manageable.
It sounds like they're kind of butthurt at the reception of their own shit. It sounds like they've been reading Steam reviews a bit too much. Because like
The map is huge. Everyone's like, this sucks. They're like, whoa.
Well, it's not that big.
And it's like, we know your main complaints about every single one of our games. That's problematic in and of itself because you keep making it.
Yeah.
They also harped a lot on UI indicators on the map.
Sure.
I'm playing Horizon Zero Dawn a little bit, and that map is just fucking covered in different icons.
For real.
It's cluttered.
That is how most open world games are presented.
But the takeaway isn't that I'm worried that the large open world map is going to be covered in UI icons. My worry is what we said, like there's no content to fill the space.
Yeah.
I don't really give a shit if I open the map and there's a million little markers. Like you learn to navigate those, and most have a legend where you can turn some of them off.
True.
But it seemed to be a point that people on the internet were like really harping on. Like, I don't want that cluttered map. Get it out of here.
I don't want that cluttered map because it's too much of like you can't have too much shit going on at the same time. If you look at the map and then there's like, and especially when the icons are like overlapping. Have you ever had that in a game?
Oh yeah.
Piss me off, man. It's just like, what can I do here? Spell it out to me. That's more of just a functionality thing rather than it just being UI.
Too much UI. They're just giving you checklists like do this, do this, do this, hit X here, hit triangle there.
I mean,
I just want to see the world, take all of it out, and I want to get lost in the gameplay. If I stumble upon a cave with some Nemoidians that are running a spice mine or something, fun. I don't need you to tell me location here, cave icon, go down. I don't want to pull up Icaros and have them lay out every single item for me to find in there before I go in there, which is fucking Assassin's Creed, which we'll talk about later.
Well, that's the one thing. That's the one thing Souls games do so well. It's they allow for your level of exploration. If you want to cover the entire map, you can fucking do it, and you'll still miss shit. So, I don't know. It's a lot of hand holding because I promise you that these things go through so much like testing and focus groups. Like I talk often about like focus group games. Like the bigger releases always have to have focus groups where they ask a 40-year-old with kids and then they ask an 18-year-old with too much fucking time on their hands. And they have to somehow meet everything in the middle.
Yeah, they want to please everybody.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, everybody's just kind of left a little unfulfilled.
Master of none.
Yeah. In my opinion, the perfect map is Red Dead Redemption 2.
It's excellent.
And the UI that you do have in the game is highly customizable. I liked to play the game with just the compass, where you turn even the mini-map off and you're just using land indicators to try and get around.
Yeah, I know I have experience.
Yeah, I know I have to go west. I will go right up to the top of a hill. I will survey the land and try to find the best way to get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to see if they could flesh it out. I like Star Wars games after Survivor, so I mean, I'd play it.
Well, Survivor has one of the best game developers in recent history,
and just an excellent story and a wonderful protagonist and a compelling arc. Yeah, it's just great.
I love it.
Modern Warfare 2, we're going to get a little Call of Duty news in here. Went offline on Steam. Did you hear about that? I didn't hear about it until yesterday. Modern Warfare 2.
My search algorithm knows I don't care about
the remaster.
Yeah. Back in June, the Steam discussion page warned players that they shouldn't play the game without having a virus scanner. According to TechCrunch,
what
hackers...
a fucking ominous warning that is. Don't play our game without a virus scanner?
That was on the Steam discussion page.
I don't like any of that.
This is the one with no Russian in it, right?
Yes.
Is it a remake of that one? Or?
It's the remaster.
Oh,
Okay.
I didn't know if it was a remake or a remaster.
Because at this point, they
one of
can't
the
even
two.
make Call of Duties anymore. They just remaster old ones.
According to TechCrunch, hackers were using a worm or a piece of malicious code that could self-replicate and automatically spread from one user to another. Using hacked lobbies, players would get a Trojan virus that would spread to whomever they played next.
Jesus.
People were finding viruses
It's
on
like
the
an
computers.
STD.
Yeah, it is exactly like that.
And we all know they ain't getting STDs because they ain't fucking. Ha!
Like and subscribe.
But I've never heard of a game getting a Trojan virus like that could spread that maliciously. So that kind of blew my mind.
You're essentially every time you get into a match with someone, you are opening up data caches for the person around you every single time.
Yeah.
So That's actually the perfect Trojan horse virus.
Yeah.
Because if you play a lot of Call of Duty, then there you go. Like, yeah.
When the Trojans made that horse back in the day, do you think they were just wondering if somehow it would be spreading viruses across video games in the future?
I don't know, but they did retake a city with it, so
that's cool.
Yeah.
We'll make a big horse, dude. We'll all hide inside of it. Someone was smoking major crack that day,
and I bet it looked pretty good.
Yeah.
It was just like it was just one lone soldier, and they're like, "Well,
guys, I got an idea.
Sasha, he's not very good at the war part, but he's fabulous with a bunch of pieces of wood.
He can make the best horse you've ever seen. Put some wheels on that fucker. Yeah. We can fit 30 dudes in there." I want to. Did they know what the Trojan horse looked like? Do you know, Tyler?
It's described.
I mean, it's been painted and described a whole bunch. It sometimes is like 30 or 40 feet high and super like siege towery.
There's just a bunch of dudes hiding inside the horse.
I think the most common belief, if it actually happened,
we don't even know.
Yeah, because it's
from the Iliad, right?
Yeah. If it actually happened, what most likely happened was it was a very small one that was believable with only a few dudes in it, and those dudes got in,
opened the gates,
sabotage the city and opened the gates for the army.
And they were all dressed like women, and they came out, and they were just like, it was comical. They were like walking around hiding in bushes, pretending that they weren't soldiers.
Yeah,
they were just Bugs Bunny level of drag.
Yes,
yeah,
that's it. Yeah,
and Achilles was climbing into the horse, and they were like, "Dude, you should really put some armor in your heels." And he was like, "Don't tell me how to live my life." And then
I'm showing off my calves today. You know that.
Yeah, I mean, the horse was probably pretty damn big because if it was like a conciliatory gift in disguise.
Yeah, well, you would think about it. There's 3 of us in this room. You throw in like another 15 dudes in here, this is going to be a bigger room.
This would already be a giant horse if it was just this room.
So, who knows?
In fact, it looks exactly like a horse. I guess I never noticed.
How the fuck did they make it? They were stationed on the beach. It's not like they had like actual real like carpentry tools and a workshop to make this thing, and they whipped it up in about a half hour or some crazy shit because they were in the middle of war. So, it's highly unbelievable.
Okay, but viruses are spreading.
Yes. And The Boys, the TV show.
Yeah, coming to Mortal Kombat.
And Call of Duty.
They're coming to Call of Duty?
Yeah, they are already there.
You just see him holding an M16. I have actually seen screenshots, and I'm like, all right, you wouldn't need it.
He's Homelander. Here's Superman, here's your pistol.
Warzone Season 2. Warzone 2 Season 4 Reloaded added Temp V to the game. If anybody doesn't know what Temp V is, I'm going to do a little spoiler for the boys here so you can scrub ahead. Temp V is a compound in the show that's different than the comic, will make you a superhuman for 24 hours and give you a random ability.
What a funny thing.
That's not really it. I mean, it's a spoiler, but it's not.
One of the
spoiler would be that Carl Urban's character holds a baby. That is when he gets Temp V. He gets Temp V and then he holds a baby with laser eyes. I forget.
No, he holds the baby, then he gets Temp V.
Then he gets Temp V.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now
there's a spoiler.
Temp V in Warzone, so you can pick it up and use it. One of the abilities is Homelander's Superman laser eyes, and it is way OP. I saw a clip of it. When you trigger
I have to make a quick correction for the comic book audience. Superman does not have laser eyes. He has heat vision. Homelander has laser eyes.
Homelander's laser eyes.
Guys, I want to issue my first apology on getting Superman lore wrong. This is really embarrassing for me. And I know
I'm just trying to cover my ass a little bit.
And I will do better.
We're going to strive to do better.
Listen, we made a lot of mistakes.
Don't listen to anything that I talk about superhero wise. It's definitely wrong. Sometimes I do it to trigger Dylan.
That's fine.
But that Superman 1 was an honest mistake. Sorry.
Being triggered is my fetish.
So getting laser eyes is what you can do now in Warzone, which allows you to levitate off the ground like Homelander, and then you can fully spin in a 360-degree radius and just melt people with laser eyes. It's super OP. I saw a clip of it. It's ridiculous. But
fun.
That's all well and good.
Do you vaporize them?
Are you referencing your brother's band?
No, but I do realize that I say well and good a lot.
Okay. Because they're well plus good, so get it right.
Could be subconscious. One of the other abilities you get in the game that has people extra mad, because yes, Homelander's ability is OP. You have the ability to jump super high with no fall damage. And anybody familiar with Battle Royale games knows that the map closes as the game goes on. The circles get smaller. And this is fucking up endgame because now people can just jump straight into the middle. They can hide in the fog and the gas, whatever it is nowadays, and then launch into the middle. And it kind of fucks up the end game for a lot of people. Fans are really mad, saying they have to completely relearn how to play the game and that superheroes have no place in a grounded military game.
You've convinced me. I'm still not going to play this game.
A grounded military game where the theory is that they're in a battle royale and then
Yes.
there's this giant cloud of crap coming
Yes.
in to kill them all.
Now, if they had Cillian Murphy as DLC and he dropped a fucking atomic bomb on the map, like
I'd play it.
That's a crossover that makes sense.
Nicki Minaj will be in the game soon.
Pass.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
As well as Snoop Dogg.
I read that news. I didn't include it, but we're here.
Why? Because of money.
Nicki Minaj, her butt's too big to be carrying around a rifle like that.
Ooh, hot take. Hot.
It's not a hot take. She's got a huge ass.
That's Tom's line. Got a huge ass.
Elon Musk is now in Fallout New Vegas.
Pass.
as a mod.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Despite being 13 years old, New Vegas still gets mods created all the fucking time. Just last week, there was 88 new PC mods for the game, so that community is alive and thriving.
Man.
If they added him as an NPC that was a major donk that was ruining
is.
everything, okay, that's cool.
They replaced him with Mr. House, the CEO of the Strip.
Yeah, so
Don't know what that
he's
is.
a real fuckwad.
Yeah, which he can become a main antagonist in the game if you choose not to help him.
Okay.
But he is a very arrogant. He's a very technologically smart. It's essentially.
I don't think Elon Musk is technologically smart,
But he thinks he is.
he thinks he is. Yeah.
So it seemed like a perfect marriage for the modder under the name of No Usernames Chosen. No username selected, who actually taught himself how to use AI text to speech in order to get Elon Musk's voice in the game. I saw a little clip of it.
As long as the character is a major
cool.
ding dong, I support this.
Oh, he's a ding dong.
Then it's cool.
And then
Although, I don't know if you're bringing this up in the news. Like, aren't voice actors and people getting very upset from Skyrim because people are putting in porn mods that are using their AI-generated voices?
I did see that in the Discord. I didn't put it in the news.
Okay, I just wanted to mention, that is, at first it's a funny headline, and then it is a real fucking problem when your voice, like, someone could take your voice, Dylan, and this is a bad example because you probably wouldn't mind, but imagine someone takes your character, your Lydia, and they just, like, take your voice and they generate, like, pornography off of it.
Ooh, here's something for you, people. Ooh, ow.
Some people call it junk. I call it my penis. But voice actors were getting upset and like, how do you protect against that? Modders do what they do, and you can't. But safeguards, I understand. It's the fucking Wild West right now.
This is only going to get worse, and if we start treating it like treating it like a threat, it's going to happen to everyone no matter what. This is going to become a huge problem where it's going to completely change society as we know it. It's just going to completely wreck a lot of things. There's going to have to actually be like sanctioned things where you know that something is true because it's like validated. There's going to be agencies to protect us from this, essentially. Because if you hear the president say something and it doesn't have like this logo, like like Truth, not Truth Social, but like there's going to have to be some regulatory crap for this. You can't stop this from happening, and there's not going to be legal consequences.
So you're talking about there'd be like a image NFT that would be associated with a certain person that would be able to verify that Joe Biden said this.
It's almost like we'll have chips and shit in our body that can like verify validity. It's like what they do at the vet, man. It's just going to happen to us.
Yeah, and it's already happening. I read a story about, I think it was a Twitch streamer who got in a lot of trouble because he was looking up deep faked porn about another Twitch streamer. So somebody had taken her likeness and put it in a deep fake porno. This guy got caught watching it, and she was obviously super offended and embarrassed and the whole nine. You know, you can't even imagine what is going through your head when that happens. But it's inappropriate. You shouldn't do it. But we're already living in that world because people already get in trouble
there's
for
no
it.
actual like legal recourse for that. If you're using something that you project out into the world publicly, it's the same thing with like AI art. If you allow people to take in what you made, people are going to take that and transform that into something else.
Problem is people are not
Inevitably.
allowing it to get taken in, and it's getting taken in, and now they're suing
Well,
because
no.
art is being based off of my art. Just because it's on the internet doesn't mean it's allowed to
I understand.
be repurposed.
I mean, and I think that when you are let's even take this podcast, for example. If you are putting yourself out there into the world, we are technically public facing creatures.
We're very popular.
Popular enough. We got fans.
We got tons of fans.
Sometimes I tell my mom, Mom, I've got fans.
If you're listening, hey, what's up, fans? We love you.
Yeah, love you guys. But this is something that you cannot stop. Once you are public facing, once you put something out into the world, it's throughout history, you don't actually have any true control over it. So if you recorded a bunch of lines and someone wanted to clip those lines out and make their own little messy mosaic of what you said.
I have a Tyler soundboard I use just for personal reasons. It's very funny.
Prank calls.
Yep. Yep.
My name's Tyler Melly.
Is
Shut
your
up.
refrigerator running?
You be quiet.
I have a wiener the size of Montana.
I do say the size of Montana a lot.
Sir,
I know,
are
but
you
I
int-
took you said wiener a different time, and I just put it right in there.
That was good.
Yeah.
Sir, are you interested in insurance? Or are you just
Mine-
fucking around with me?
My name is Tyler Melly.
My name is Tyler Melly. Yes, I understand.
You said that already.
Guys, we're confusing the listeners. They don't know who Tyler Melly is and which one of you guys is the fake now.
But there's also the ex Tyler Melly.
Yes.
That's another Tyler Melly.
We gotta hunt down these other Tyler Mellys.
If you go to the Tyler Wikipedia, it goes deep. Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Just Tyler's all the way down.
Yeah.
Tylerpedia.
Get educated
Before we
bro.
get into the big boy news topic of the day, I do have one for Josh.
Okay.
The pizza controller.
You're eating up some of my chat Xbox here.
Did you have the pizza controller on there?
Since it is an Xbox thing, but don't worry,
I
go for it.
entered to get it.
Good.
Yeah. If I win, guys, you guys don't get to smell it.
The new Xbox Series
What?
X controller.
I want to smell it, dude.
We're just gonna be playing side by side. I'm just gonna be like, this controller smells pretty good, but no.
Smell your own controller, bro.
It just smells like Cheetos.
In the lead up to the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game,
Not the game.
Movie.
Our movie Mutant Mayhem
Yep.
Which actually looks pretty good.
Yeah, it looks great. I'm excited for it.
comes out next month. They created an Xbox Series X controller that smells like pizza. It's designed to deliver the smell of the
Do you know how it works?
It's got like a thing that plugs in the back, right?
It's a pizza that you plug into the back.
Yeah.
Yep. It looks like the top of a slice of pizza. It goes right in the top of the controller. It looks
want
really
it.
cool. I want it too. They're not for sale at all. It's
I
only
entered.
available through winning.
I know.
Yeah. You have to enter the sweepstakes. You have to like retweet something by Game Pass. It's
Xbox or
Yeah.
something or other.
but yeah, it's weird that
You
the
have to
controller is going to
re-X.
smell like pizza.
That's cool.
I want to smell it.
Eh.
I'm
It
curious.
probably, like those scratch and sniff stickers. It's probably going to be one of those weird artificial, because I actually do remember specifically a scratch and sniff of pizza, and it really didn't fucking smell like pizza. It kind of smelled like false pepperoni. That's all it smelled like.
Your pepperoni is false.
False pepperoni with a bit of tomato paste smell.
False pepperoni. I like that.
Actually, I do too.
So yeah, I'd love to.
If
win
you want to
this
ever stop being loaf of white bread, you can be false pepperoni. That's your villain persona.
what's the Lego movie guy? That's like a pepperoni or something like that.
I don't know, Will Ferrell.
No, it's in not the Lego movie. It's like the Lego Island video game. Pepperoni is his name.
Pepperoni, yeah.
Pepperoni. Yep.
Love it.
Yeah. I'm not going to win this. You're not going to win this. It'd be great if you did. It's very cool though.
I reactivated a Twitter account to do this. I'm sorry, X account.
Which turtle controller would you want?
Donatello. He's been my favorite turtle forever.
Well, we're already kind of put into it. I'm Raph, definitely.
You can see it right there. You are Venus de Milo, the fifth turtle, who is the female turtle that shows up.
No, I'm Vanilla Ice.
No, you're either that or you're fucking Danny. You're the Foot Clan's son from the first movie. You're fucking Danny, bro.
Dude, I can
man.
rap all of Ice Ice Baby from memory.
Oh, wow. Really difficult.
That's not even from the movie, dude. That's just Ice Ice Baby.
No, but it's Vanilla Ice is in it.
Yeah, but if you did Go Ninja Go, like that'd be from the Turtles movie at
You
least.
can't do that.
You could be Shredder.
Have you ever seen a turtle get down? See? I'm more Vanilla Ice than you, bro.
Have you seen a turtle get down?
Do you even know who played the Super Shredder in the second one?
No.
Kevin Nash. Diesel.
No shit.
Take that.
He also played the Russian in Punisher.
If Josh is here, he'd be shaking his head at you in
yeah,
disappointment.
my TMNT knowledge is low.
You could be the Rat King.
Sure, that sounds dope.
No, you're the Tyler Perry version of Baxter Stockman.
Ew, don't insult him. I think
That
he's more of the
sounded
Megan
mean.
Fox.
Tyler Perry was fine in that movie, though.
He just look
Controversial.
amazing today.
So you said that there is big news?
The Activision Microsoft merger follow up, because we haven't talked about it.
Let's save that for the chat Xbox.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna just hand that.
I'll
to
let you guys duke it out. I'm fucking Sweden, baby.
The only other news that I have is some beer news that was posted in the Discord too. Since we are a podcast about beer. The oldest craft brewery in the United States is closed. Anchor Brewing, a cornerstone of San Francisco, is shutting down after 127 years, citing a bunch of shit. Financial trouble,
guys,
COVID,
there's a lot of shit
inflation.
going on.
But yeah, that's wild. 127 years. I never drank any of their beer, I think.
I think I've had one.
They're fine. Beer is beer. You gotta suck pretty bad to mess beer up.
Yeah, you do.
And they must have been okay if they lasted that long.
Yeah.
So,
Must have been super okay. 127 years is a long time.
I don't know. Sometimes I drink an IPA and I'm like, yeah, all right.
All these Mumford & Sons IPAs are killing the classics, you know?
Yeah. Chat Xbox, do
What?
you want to talk about the merger?
One last bit of news. I saw this today when I was looking up stuff for Xbox, and it just made me surprised. Red versus Blue, remember that show? Mm-hmm. Their final season's coming out this year.
They already had a final season once before.
I didn't know that they were still fucking going. I only watched like the first two. I was surprised to find that.
It's still Rooster Teeth, right?
Yeah, they've had controversies, but I didn't know that they were still making seasons. It must be on like season 25 or something.
Yeah, that's wild.
I never found it funny, and everyone I hung out with in high school loved it.
It was, the first season was good, and then there was like diminishing returns, but I think if you were also really into Halo, it helped a lot.
19th season, I think.
Crazy. Wow. They're going for Seinfeld numbers pretty soon. I don't know if Seinfeld got the 19 seasons.
No, that's
Seinfeld was
6.
11.
Okay.
Was it 11? Oh, yeah, it was. I'm thinking of a different show.
Same as Frasier.
We're going to take a quick break
And
to hear from
cheers.
another amazing show from the Tokyo Beat Podcast Network, and we'll be right back.
Sequelcast 2 and Friends is a podcast looking at movies in a franchise one film at a time, hosted by me, Matt Bradley Shuri, Alex, and Thrasher. We also look at video games. We're working through Sierra Online's adventure games from Mystery House all the way up through Gabriel Knight 3 and larger pop culture topics. It's a lot of fun. For more info, go to sequelcast2.com, only on the Tokyo Beat Network.
Today's show is brought to you by EPOS Gaming Audio. With a comprehensive lineup of both wired and wireless headsets, gaming amplifiers, microphones, and webcams, EPOS has everything you need to experience the power of audio. Like their H6 Pro lineup, which features two versions, an open or closed headset. The closed headset allows you to tap into exceptionally detailed audio and seals out ambient noise, while the open version delivers natural high-fidelity audio with an incredible soundstage. Both headsets include a magnetic detachable microphone and a sleek design that has no wild RGB configurations, just good design. Listeners can save 15% by visiting www.eposaudio.com/gaming and entering code EPOSFRIEND15 at checkout. That is EPOSFRIEND15 at checkout. Whoa. Dylan just opened a Nitro Pepsi, and it was the most aggressive can open I've ever heard.
They actually sampled that sound for the spaceship landing in Starfield.
Oh, wow.
That's exactly what it sounded like.
Really? Yeah. This is a... Oh, yeah. We're going to let that sit.
What does it say? It's smooth, creamy, easy to drink Nitro Pepsi.
It's honestly awesome.
It's fantastic.
It's tasty as shit. I buy a 4-pack of those like every other week.
I like that one, and they have like a vanilla one too, right? And a blue can or something like that.
This is vanilla.
And then the blue is just regular.
Yeah, blue is just regular Pepsi,
Yeah.
and I find that a little...
I liked the vanilla one.
I saw in the wild somebody drinking an alcoholic Mountain Dew at Chill on the Hill.
Yeah, wasn't that wild?
I've tried it.
And it's if you like Mountain Dew, you can drink it.
He was drinking the pineapple one, and that's the worst one.
I didn't like any of them, but
I mean, I like Mountain Dew, so...
They weren't bad.
No, but it's not something I would go out of my way.
I like Mountain
to grab.
Dew at a movie theater. That's
Yeah.
like the only time I'll really get it. The thought of getting like a bottle of Mountain Dew sounds
Well,
gross.
I'm a Sprite guy.
Well, you mean what is the new
I like
one?
Sprite.
What is it called now? Like Yellow Star or something?
No,
No,
that's
that's
Sierra
Sierra
Mist.
Mist.
It's called Starry.
it's called Starry now.
Yeah.
Isn't that a Mario character or something?
No.
No, isn't Starry like a Game Boy Advance platformer?
Starman.
Starman, okay.
Or Starsky.
And Hutch.
Sparky.
Starro.
Starro, the Starman.
It's a famous James Gunn villain from Suicide Squad, Starro.
No, that's Antonio Banderas with the mask and the fucking... He does the...
Chat Xbox here, everybody.
Console Critters.
Console critters. Meow, meow. Yes, hi. This is Chat Xbox. I'm here to tell you about why Xbox is better than all these other plebeian, horrible video game consoles. If you have a Switch, throw it in the garbage now. PlayStation, there's no saving you. If you bought a PlayStation, you're a lost cause. Right. We didn't have a Dogcast last month with Console Critters.
Yeah.
So games with gold for July. There was Darkwood, an indie survival horror game.
It's very good.
It looked very cool. I watched a video about it today, and
I
it
have
seemed
on my
awesome.
Xbox, yeah.
Have you played it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I played it for about 3 hours. It's really interesting. It's completely like top down, and then it's all about exploration and making sure that you have light sources and stuff. It's really grim.
I was reading it's about building the atmosphere and not jump scares. It's about the slow burn, and they cut to like I saw some of the character designs, and it looked kind of like Dredge. Reminded me of the way that they just intercut with that, and it looked cool. When the past was around,
I've only heard the name.
Adventure point and click puzzle game about love, moving on, and letting go. It looked cute as all heck, and like a game I wouldn't play. It got good reviews, but I also don't have time for point and click puzzle adventure games generally.
Yeah, I don't think it's anyone here's forte.
No. Games with gold for August. Now, these are not out today when we're recording, a couple days before August, but they're coming around the corner. And
For Friday?
Wednesday is August 2nd. So Tuesday, the day before this comes out.
Okay.
Inertial Drift. Now, this is what it says on the official description. Or at least like a review. It was on like the Xbox page. It says, arcade racer with a devastatingly unique handling model. Sounds devastating, the way that they describe it. It's an arcade racing game, and it's I guess what's unique about it is the way you drift. You dual arcade stick like drift control when you're going around corners. It looks
like Katamari.
It seems super fast, arcadey. Not about realism, it's about fun.
I like that.
And it got really good reviews. I'm excited to check it out. And then what I was most excited for with Games with Gold is called Blue Fire.
Blue Fire.
3D action platformer. Imagine Hollow Knight in a 3D space.
Oh.
Dashing, double jumping, hack and slash combat.
All right.
Yeah. The characters look almost Hollow Knight-ish as well, a little more colorful.
Yeah.
But it looks cool. That's what's going on with Games with Gold. Game Pass added in July. There's a bunch of games. If something jumps out at one of you guys, otherwise I'll just kind of go through the list. Arcade Paradise. You turn a laundromat into an arcade. They have like 30 different arcade machines. You can play them, and also you're running a business.
I've actually heard about this.
It looks interesting.
I would try it.
Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah, I've heard of that game.
Yeah, I've heard of that one. McPixel 3. Sword and Fairy Together Forever looked good.
Okay.
Chinese fantasy action adventure RPG with real-time hack and slash combat. That looked fine. Common Hood. for the pun alone, sign me up.
It's already out.
Yeah, it's a community building and economy management game about like managing a community and building greenhouses and shit. But Commonhood is a great name. Exoprimal, multiplayer third-person shooter video game. Tectonica, this is a game preview of a first-person factory automation game.
Oh, what?
You are running a factory, building, gathering resources, research technologies.
I mean, I like Power Wash Simulator. That's fun.
Yeah.
Oh, lawn mowing simulator.
Yeah.
Bus simulator.
I actively said no to that one.
Toem, Toem, hand-drawn adventure photography game.
I've been playing it.
You have. It looks very interesting. So it's 2.5D. Toem. That's how I'd say it. Toem.
You're like a frog guy.
It's 2.5D. You move as like a Paper Mario looking thing, but you go into first person mode, and then all of a sudden it's like very 3D, but
dope.
still, you know,
Paper.
those 2D paper looking guys.
And
it looks fun.
It's full of cute characters that talk to you, and you get graded on them. So it's almost like a little, not open world, but sectioned off, like Pokemon Snap, kind of.
It looks fun.
I think it's cool.
It looks unique, which is it's
a big plus.
Yeah, it's hard to find those these days.
Big plus.
The Cave is a puzzle platform adventure game from Monkey Island and Maniac Mansion creator Ron Gilbert and Double Fine Productions. Looks fine. Maquette, puzzle adventure game.
I almost downloaded this.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass now. So
I know it. I might as well.
yeah, you interact with a table-like world, and it affects the world around you.
Mm-hmm.
Figment 2, Creed Valley. The Wandering Village. The Wandering Village is a city-building simulation game on the back of a giant wandering creature.
My wife played this for a little while.
Those are a lot of
fun.
good. Those words, I like all of them.
It's still in game preview though, so it is technically not a finished product of a video game yet. Jordan was playing it. She was having a good time. It's interesting. She played it for maybe an hour and a half, and I watched the whole thing. I said, "This isn't for me."
You need to manage your settlement, your people, and work on your symbiotic relationship with the wandering creature as well.
Because that keeps him
dope.
alive. Because the world is full of like this like poisonous like rocks, I guess, and like you have to. He's like the last beast of this giant race, and so you have to like build up everything and you have to be harmonious with them. You can't be too greedy, or else the thing will die.
It's a metaphor for Earth.
Dude,
That's deep, dog.
Serious Sam, Siberian Mayhem.
I saw that.
They're still making Serious Sam games?
That's what I said.
Well, they made Serious Sam 4 a couple of years ago.
And this is a first-person shooter standalone expansion. Well, it's just a standalone expansion to Serious Sam 4. Venba is a narrative cooking game where you need to restore lost family recipes through trial and error. It looks cute, and like I'm not going to play it. Being added in August, we have 3 games. Celeste.
Have you played that?
I've heard of it. Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I'll be playing that.
Another asymmetric horror-based property video game.
I will be playing this actually because I'm a huge fan of Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Did you play Friday the 13th or Dead by Daylight?
I'm not afraid of. I don't.
I'm not afraid of them.
I'm not afraid.
That was like a really weird defense mechanism.
The Friday the 13th one, I watched a lot of gameplay footage of. It just didn't seem like most slasher movies I'm not like really into.
And Jason's pretty low on my list.
Yeah, I don't find him
Leatherface
scary.
above Jason for sure.
The only time I was really like intimidated is when he bashed the girl around in the sleeping bag, and I thought that was like the most like brutal way to die.
That wasn't like the last one. That was in Jason X.
Or the
Was he?
remake. No, he lights the guy
seen
on
so many
fire.
of them.
In Jason
sleeping
X, they put him into like a 3D projection on the spaceship because Jason, if you haven't seen it, it's in outer space, and they put him in a projection room, and he picks up the camp ladies, and he has one in a sleeping bag, and he's like just beating the shit out of the bag.
I think that's from an early one too. I think that's like a recall.
It could be. That was we watched all of them not long ago.
Dead by
and that was one of the
Daylight-
only moments we liked in any of the movies.
Dead by Daylight looks annoying. Everything about it looks kind of annoying.
Friday the 13th, I played a little bit. I watched a lot of gameplay videos of Jack Packard and Rich Evans playing the game on previously recorded. I liked watching it. I like the idea of asymmetric horror games. And that's why
cool.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space had me curious.
Yeah.
And it's just funny that now you just take horror properties and make them into
Yeah.
1v4, or this one is 3 versus 4. They're like the members of the family. So it's not just Leatherface. It's also the cook. It's also the hitchhiker. It's multiple members. And then there's a new cast of the survivors, the victims.
I like this as an update and a reskin for that model of game. I played quite a bit of Friday the 13th, but I do enjoy watching people play it more because when you get paired with randos, it really kind of kills your experience sometimes. Yeah. But the atmosphere of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the farm, the style, going back in time, aesthetically, this game to me is going to be way better than the other two.
Yeah.
And not just because it's a graphic update from Friday the 13th.
And it's on Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass.
No, I mean, like, that's why I'll play it. I would not go spend $30 to play this game, but if I can try it out, maybe it's fun. Maybe I'll love it. Maybe I won't, but regardless, I'll look at Leatherface and think, I like this character.
Spartacus.
I'd play a match with you.
They brought Kane, I forget his last name. The guy who played him in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, he also played Jason.
Oh, really?
He's one of the main, and Michael Myers. He's one of the guys who plays the body or whatever. And yep. So I'm excited to see this. Halloween would be a fun one too.
Yeah, Halloween would be the pinnacle.
There's actually one I do want to bring to light, and I don't know if it was on your list. It's called Bramble.
I've heard of Bramble.
It's awesome.
When's that coming out?
It's already out.
Okay.
Or it's like it's called Bramble.
Maybe it's already on Game Pass.
It's already on Game Pass. I played a bunch of it.
Okay.
But you're like this little boy in like this like Slavic folklore. Like your sister runs away at night and then you try to go find her.
I think we talked about this one before.
This just came out. It came out after the last Dogcast, so I'm not really sure.
It's not on my list.
Bramble the Mountain King, I think it's called.
It's got a 10 out of 10 on Steam.
That's a pretty good rating.
That's
Dude,
some would say the best.
It is charming as shit, and it looks, except for the human characters, everything else looks amazing.
Looks gnarly.
It like if you're seeing screenshots, it is actually that good looking.
Yeah, it's gnarly.
Exciting.
Yeah.
No, I definitely check it out. I don't know if it's on Game Pass. It must have been in June then, because it was July. I went through the list. I have the master list on the computer.
When did it come out on Game Pass?
You can,
Tyler, you're the man with the plan.
There's a master sheet. There's also a PlayStation one that's pretty good. Also, Sea of Stars. I backed this on Kickstarter, so I'm a little upset it's coming to Game Pass day one.
It just went gold.
Yep. RPG inspired by Chrono Trigger, Illusion of Gaia, and Breath of Fire, August 29th. As far as news, we talked about Square Enix. We talked about the pizza controller. There's a new Xbox dashboard coming. That's fine. I haven't seen it yet. It's not on my Xbox. Game Pass Core is going to be a thing. Now, Xbox Live Gold is going to be replaced with Game Pass Core on September 14th. It's going to be $10 a month or $60 a year. You will retain your games with gold. If you downloaded those games while you had games with gold, you still have them, as long as you have your membership. So that's fine, but it's going to be a small selection of Game Pass games that gets updated like a couple times a year. Instead of once a month, you get 2 or 3 new games to download.
Okay. Well, I already have Game Pass Ultimate, so it's already included.
Yep, it's not going to change anything for you, but games like Xbox Live Gold is going away. And
good riddance.
Yeah. At least it doesn't have anything stupid like Plus Premium. It just says Core, so that's good.
Well,
simple.
It's still too much, in my opinion, just saying Game Pass Core, but Xbox and Activision. So Xbox and Activision Blizzard won their court case against the U.S. FTC as the judge denied the FTC's request for a preliminary injunction over the takeover. The judge said, after considering the parties' voluminous pre- and post-hearing writing submissions and having held a 5-day evidentiary hearing, the court says, fuck off, FTC. Xbox are allowed to buy them. They immediately tried to appeal it, and the Ninth Circuit Court denied the emergency appeal to block the merger on July 14th. So the FTC currently have formally withdrawn its challenge to the acquisition on July 20th. They can try and refile at a later time. Ultimately, Today, that decision paves the way for the takeover to go through in the United States. The CMA, the European Commission, though, whilst merging parties don't have the opportunity to put forward new remedies once a final report has been issued, they can choose to restructure a deal which can lead to a new merger investigation. Microsoft and Activision have indicated that they are considering how the transaction might be modified. The CMA is prepared to engage with them on this basis. Essentially, CMA is like, we're going to hear more discussions. They have kind of, Microsoft and Activision Blizzard have hinted that if this doesn't go through the CMA, they would look into possibly just not releasing certain games there, which would get the CMA to back off pretty quick. I think at this point, it's going to happen, but the CMA wants to pretend that they still have power.
Yeah.
So they're going to try and get a few things changed.
It's all dick measuring.
The merger agreement was previously supposed to happen in August. Like, that was the final date between Microsoft and Activision Blizzard. They moved it to October 18th. So that's the day that the deadline for we have to have this deal finalized by then. Did you find out about Bramble? I'll look it up.
Yeah, no, I did. June 27th.
Okay.
Joins Xbox Game Pass. Sure. I didn't know.
Barely beat you by 3 days.
3 days. But I'll tell you what, it was after our recording.
Yeah, probably was.
Okay.
When I was reading.
So Brad was right.
So Dylan was right.
I said June.
You did say June,
but I didn't.
I said after the podcast.
Can we just agree
we didn't talk about
that
it?
Tyler is beautiful?
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, it's fine.
What about your ex-wife?
And those booty shorts you're wearing.
It's hot out. I gotta air it out.
If somebody were to draw fan art of what you describe the podcast being, Dylan, it would be so bizarre.
Yeah.
You've described the room we're in as
it.
a Trojan horse, as something covered in ponies before. I don't know. There's a horse theme. The last episode, you're like, oh, yeah, there's ponies all over
Oh,
this
My
wall.
Little Pony on the back wall behind me.
Oh, yeah.
And Tyler's in booty shorts.
I do have a weird thing
He's a
about
13-year-old in booty shorts.
Who is just constantly drunk and hungover.
Yeah.
I didn't know one detail that I spotted in the acquisition. I didn't realize that
Acquisition Blizzard.
Yeah. I didn't realize that Microsoft was going to have to pay Activision $3 billion if the deal didn't go through.
I don't know if it's $3 billion. They're going to make a shitload of money regardless.
I read $3 billion this morning, and I was like, that's a lot of money to like wager.
Yeah.
Like, that's really putting all your fucking
I think
eggs in one
Microsoft
basket.
is putting a lot of people's feet to the fire, and I said this the moment that it failed the first time. I said they're just going to get more aggressive and they're going to win. They are Microsoft. That is not it's like one of those undeniable things. You can't escape them.
I will say, the last time we did a chat Xbox, things were not looking good for Xbox, but the most recent month or two with the Final Fantasy 14 thing, as well as this possibly going through, Xbox has looked very good lately. And the Starfield Direct we talked about in the previous episode, like, Xbox is looking good. A lot better than they were 2 months ago.
Xbox is looking fantastic. As somebody who does not own one and is just kind of like the sad kid in the rain looking through the window at the happy family, that's
Playing
how
all
I
of
feel.
your great Spider-Man and Final
I
Fantasy
love
games that I can't play.
But Starfield's coming out, and then like it's just Game Pass has always been so pretty.
I didn't read the article, but there was also like a Red Dead 2 like copyright thing leaked or something. It seems like
The first Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
okay.
I forgot to mention that. It looks like they're going to remaster it, which would be easy because you have the new engine and you're just basically plugging the game back in. It would take some work.
The same way.
What they should do, if you ask me, is just have the game, and I guess I'm going to spoil a little bit here if you haven't beaten it, have the game just continue. So once you get to the epilogue,
It could be like Red Dead Redemption 2.
it's just Red Dead Redemption now.
Red Dead Redemption 2 takes place before Red Dead Redemption 1.
That's confusing.
Yeah, so now you would just play as Arthur,
Yeah.
get to the epilogue, and then play John's story, contain it all.
They should bring it to the modern age.
They should.
I actually do
was
think
joking.
I think that a Western setting with like almost like Bonnie and Clyde style, like
I think a Roaring 20s
Chicago
would be a nice trilogy
gangsters.
finisher for it.
yeah,
Assassin's Creed
older
Chicago.
John maybe running it.
Assassin's Creed Chicago during the Al Capone era.
That's actually
I'd play it.
I mean, I'd be there for it.
Could be pretty good.
You could like kill Lucky Luciano, and you could get with Rothstein and like fix the World Series. It'd be great.
Well, they would make up like stand-ins
Fixing the
for
World Series
characters.
would be fun. Also exploring like, the baseball field and stuff.
Yeah.
I just want to walk the bases. Says Brad about like a super AAA game.
I would get a gold achievement. The moment I did, I'd get a fucking achievement pop up.
Honestly, that seems like something Rockstar would do because I've done stupid shit in Red Dead Redemption 2, and then it pops up like, oh, you made your horse jump that cliff? That's fucked up, and that's like an achievement.
Yep. And the horse jumped over the moon. Great.
There you go.
You got anything else, Chad Xbox?
No, Chat Xbox reigns supreme. Tell me about your stupid queue.
Yeah, tell me about it.
right.
I haven't looked into this.
Spartacus here. Before we get to the queue, PlayStation or Sony and Microsoft did ink a deal to keep Call of Duty on Sony for at least like the next 10 years.
Yeah.
It looks like Sony's admitting this is probably going to happen, and we should probably start playing nice. But in other news, yes, the PlayStation Q was leaked. And I was super excited to see it, not because I thought it was going to be great, but because...
You knew it'd be fun to talk about?
Yeah. Leaked footage from the new handheld in action was shared by a tech enthusiast named Zuby. Short videos, a few photos were revealed.
Have you seen this, Dylan? Okay,
No.
I'm going to show you. I have a little clip I'm going to show you guys, but just because people can't see it, it appears this thing is running on Android operating system. And I mean that. It doesn't look good. It looks just as we suspected, a DualSense cut in half with an LCD just kind of smashed in the middle.
Well, isn't this a picture we've already seen?
Yeah.
I am now looking at the picture itself.
It looks real bad. Here you go.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He starts moving it like it clunky. The operating system looks terrible. And when he turns it over,
Well, this isn't final operating system.
No, it's
No.
not a final product.
I know that, but when he turns it over, like where the analogs meet it, it looks awkward, like on the back.
I like where the analogs meet. I do actually really like this kind of thin screen with the bulkier controllers. I think it's a slick design. My main problem is the fact that they made this at all, and it's not its own system. Now, if it were as we've postulated, like that, like it could be another, like it could be the sequel to the PS Vita.
I
actually think it would stick now.
If this would be the
Steam Deck
Switch
is so
version
popular.
of PlayStation. If this was
Yes.
take most of your PlayStation games on the go.
Yeah. And maybe you had to like, even if it was something where like every 10 days you had to like reconnect it to your system to
I'd be
make
fine
sure
with that.
that would have been okay.
But this thing cannot handle games on its own. This
No.
just receives and sends stuff back to your PlayStation.
And if it is Indian,
It's essentially a remote play controller.
I have
And that's sketchy to me.
I have good internet at my place, and I did remote play on my laptop sitting directly next to my router. Like I've never had an issue with internet.
That's not even internet. That is just router at that point.
Latency on remote play it makes the majority of games unbearable.
If it is a frame off, it is unplayable.
So if the queue is not perfect, then it is going to be unplayable. It's aiming for a November 2023 release. Does anybody want to take a stab at the alleged battery life?
I'm going to say 3 hours.
I was going to guess 4.
3 to 4 hours.
Wow, nice work, dude.
You guys
Me and Dylan
nailed
are
it.
awesome.
That is a useless handheld.
Yeah.
My Switch, as old as it is,
No, the Game Gear did great, dude.
Dude, you could watch the opening cinematic of Phantom Pain before it dies.
yeah.
Maybe.
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 No, this is great. Sony's going to do really well with the Q, which nobody wants, nobody's excited about, and
I'm the most Sony PlayStation fanboy that there is.
Yeah.
I am Spartacus. And
you are
I'm
Spartacus.
not psyched about it.
I'm Spartacus.
What it is a bad look. It is PlayStation. Sometimes they're like, all right, the VR
This is just grubby.
is not doing great, but it is them putting they're in the arena and they're trying to just stake a claim.
And
they're not doing great with the VR2. No one
they
talks
pulled
about
their-
the fucking VR2.
No,
no,
they're putting
and
their-
there's not really even much news about it outside of like they've lowered a price, they've hit this margin.
But they're there.
Yeah,
And that's important to be there and to stake your claim and to just
Yes.
you lose money for a while. Xbox did horrible for a long time before it became what it is.
and it's a serviceable VR. It's not
bad.
It's not bad.
It's
I
just,
would really like to try the 2.
I would as well, but I also don't have money to buy a VR 2.
I don't either. Again, I don't
Patreon.com.
have a PlayStation. Sure, man.
So
We need a lot of money for us to start buying VRs.
Oh my god. Or games in general.
Yeah, Photoshop's expensive.
if you're listening to this, it's already too late for you, but the free July games for Spartacus were Call of Duty Cold War, which I already owned, Alan Wake, which I already owned, and Endling, Extinction is Forever. I don't know much about that game. It's got a fox on the cover.
We look to you, Dylan. Dylan, if we don't know what's going on game-wise, you're the one who might.
Jordan actually might have downloaded this for her Switch, but I don't know. She likes playing the games where it's kind of atmospheric and kind of pleasant.
You play...
She might have been into this, and she might have actually gotten it on her Switch, but I don't know.
I don't want to go back to the queue, but if there was anything other than remote play, if it was you can also just play regular games and have an extra screen, kind of what the Wii U tried to do.
Yeah.
If there was anything to justify it, there's nothing to justify it.
no.
To me.
Honestly, if I owned a PlayStation 5 and you said your map is on this screen, you don't have to, and you can do certain UI things by touching the pad.
That's all I
That's
need.
dope.
I would get it,
I just need something to justify it.
because if
Instead of a 4-hour battery life to play Horizon Zero Dawn in my bed.
because I'm playing, spoiler alert, Cyberpunk 2077 after I played it when it first came out, and sometimes I'm just looking at these maps in this UI and I say, this sucks, really bad. And
sucks real
if I could
That's the
split
patch
it,
version too.
if
which
I
is
could
great.
split it between me looking at the screen, then going back down and doing some shit like equipping stuff, and then go back up, that was the best part of what the Wii U even did.
Yeah.
That was the brilliance of it. Wind Waker HD was a marvel. I don't understand how they're not even thinking of that. That can't be that difficult.
And who knows? Maybe they will. They've had quite a few leaks about it so far, but nothing that's been leaked is sounding really good. Hopefully they can hear this and be okay, we should change course a little bit.
So a product that's 3 months away from launch.
Yes.
And they can't properly explain what this thing is or what it does.
It's called the Wii U.
If it was a Wii U controller, I'd be down to clown, because that's awesome.
No, but I'm talking about not being able to properly explain what it is.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And that's why the Wii U, one of my favorite consoles of all time, was one of the worst botched releases ever. If the Q does have a viability, they haven't illustrated it. They haven't explained it.
And they need to speak up, because holiday season is getting closer every single day. We're not that far away.
And you know what? People are going to start buying more Switches. They're going to get more Tears of the Kingdom. They're going to get more of all that shit. I don't see anyone buying the Q.
I don't see myself buying it, obviously, but
If I was given it, I don't see myself playing it for free barely. I'll play it for a little bit, but then I'm just going to go back to my usual life.
You're right, though. It needs functionality outside of just being a remote play device in your house.
If I could take it on the go, yes, please sign me up.
Yes.
It's not that.
Or I like the idea of having a UI on it while you're playing the game on the TV, having a second screen where you can do stuff without having to
Anything.
sort menus.
well, now realistically too, we're talking how it's running on Android technology, right?
Yeah.
And the Switch is still running on 8-year-old Android hardware. Period. And it's still doing okay.
The Switch is stupid good for what it is.
It should not have lasted this long. But now if they're using modern Android technology where you can actually get some decent shit off of this, you can make this thing work for itself.
That's true.
And I wonder if it looks that bad, or if it's the pixel count, or if people are just so used to the idea that they're playing on 4K televisions with 4K resolution and graphics. I don't know. Because I'm thinking to myself, well, if it had that proper functionality, then it'd be fine.
The Q is a dumb name too.
Is this also, they're just going to keep with Q?
For the time being, I haven't
It's coming
read
out.
anything.
It's coming out this year allegedly, and they're like,
They should just call it the PlayStation,
It's tough for me because I actually love the PlayStation as chat Xbox, but it's just so
seems-
easy to ridicule this.
well, is
thing.
this just going to be a niche item like the VR? because they wanted more proliferation with the VR. They wanted people to really get into that.
VR2 is doing bad right now.
Yes. So is this just going to end up being a niche market item that they know they're going to sell because people are also going to know that it's kind of a wash, but they want it as like a relic?
It's not easy enough to come home and put a VR headset on. So it's not viable. It's not anything people do.
Definitely not.
That
yeah.
and I don't know about you guys, but VR games just do not interest me. Like hardly at all. Like I have played quite a few that I really did enjoy my time with.
You would
Have
like
we strapped you into Star Wars Squadrons?
You would like Star Wars Squadrons, and you would dig Iron Man. If you like Marvel,
There have been quite a few games I've played. There's a Gladiator game my little brother has that I love playing.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, and he's got some gorilla game where you run around like a gorilla. That one's super fun. But I don't want to come home from work and have to strap on a VR headset. Plus, I enjoy the experience that I currently have on the screen in front of me and me sitting on my couch with a controller.
Well, here's what's really cool about even the PlayStation VR stuff. You could literally just play an entire video game on those goggles. It doesn't have to just be VR games. If you wanted just like privacy,
yeah, true,
and you strapped them in, you could play God of War on your VR.
And that has an interesting, because it's like a home theater in there with the way the screen works. Because I've seen,
and it works very well. My understanding is that it actually like it might actually enhance the experience a little bit. So it has multiple applications. I don't think it's a failed product because I think Sony understands they're taking a loss on this by putting out more and more patents. And they're securing their software and hardware rights for the future because they know that it's still too early because the PlayStation 1 VR or the first PlayStation VR didn't sell that buku anyway either. So because I could find them in stores probably even now. But it's like, I don't know, like you really got to get people excited. And if they had like a AAA first party game instead of some indie, they might actually be able to achieve that.
Yeah.
But you got to have something to back it up.
Give people a reason to want it. And they don't have that yet.
we have feelings about the queue, but I do have a couple more things for Spartacus before we move on.
Sure.
Okay. The PlayStation monthly games for August are going to be PGA Tour 2K23. Mm-hmm. This is a game that I'm going to play the fuck out of, and I would have never have bought because I love sports games, and it's got a My Career mode. I'm going to play it, and I'm going to play a lot of it, and I already know that.
Tyler Melly in the custom character creator?
No, I usually use, I have a name that I use. It was one
Barack
of the
Obama sucks.
No, I use Eddie Lewis. It was a character I wrote in one of my first stories.
He's such a Republican. It's ridiculous.
I know.
You take that back.
Let's go, Brandon, right?
Dirty bastard. You take that back.
Can't believe I'm talking about Joe Biden this much. Sucks.
Dylan, have you heard of Dreams? It's from the creator of Little Big Planet.
You're talking to Dylan.
He knows a lot of games.
Well, no, that's what I mean. Like, of course Dylan knows about Dreams. It's one of the bigger ones. Ask him about the most obscure bullshit. And he's like, yeah, I played it 7 hours. It's fine. It's a fine game.
That Dreams is going to be one of the free August games. And Death's Door, which is an isometric action-adventure game.
It's really good.
See? Never heard of it.
It came out for the Xbox first. It is a brilliant little Dark Souls-like with a little bit of isometric combat. It works really well, and it's actually really interesting. I would actually suggest people play this.
I am interested in all 3 of these games.
Dom likes it as well.
Oh, okay.
And
if you're listening, Dom, we miss you.
You said Sea of Stars is day 1?
Fucking, I'm so mad that game is coming to Game
Sea of
Pass
Stars is also day 1.
I'm so mad.
On Spartacus. And you backed it?
There's going to be a fucking gravestone in there that says Hair the Dogcast, so that's cool, and I'm getting the vinyl record, but apart from that, it's like, come on.
How much did you pay?
I don't want to talk about it.
It's fine.
We got the first look at the Spider-Man 2 limited edition bundle. Did you guys see that?
No.
They are releasing...
Dude, it's got blue and red.
No,
Dude,
it's black and red.
He wears black.
And he's Venom. You see him? He looks like the other Venoms, but they showed him he's the same Venom, but
it's Harry this time.
And they approved.
I read that.
They approved it. They said he looks cool, so.
Okay. I mean, it's fine. I also think it's cool that Harry's...
When there's a news article that's saying like Venom's design release and it looks like every other Venom I've ever seen.
It is such...
Now, if they brought Topher Grace's Venom in there, that's a fucking article.
I just keep calling him Eric Foreman.
I watched The Flash.
Oh yeah.
I will say,
Let's save it for doggies.
spoiler warning. Oh, say what for doggies? Okay.
Yeah.
No, they are releasing a bundle with a newly designed PlayStation 5 and a new DualSense that looks pretty dope.
I think that I don't love the
it's
DualSense
fine.
design.
It's
I like
fine.
the PlayStation design, not the DualSense.
It looks cringy.
I like it.
I don't care that much about Spider-Man.
But the cool thing,
Trying to make the PlayStation 5 look good is really bad.
I like the modem design. I love it. I think
I hate the curves. Make it like a little more clean looking instead of like.
no, the
the
4
Xbox
was
is an actual
so
box.
I love it. It's a fucking monolith.
Yes.
It's a powerful monolith. This is the PlayStation. We walked by. This is one of my favorite Dylan things. We were walking by like the ugliest sports car, and it was white and black. And Dylan's like, "Whoa, the PlayStation 5 is smaller than I thought." I lost my shit.
The Spider-Man limited edition bundle. They got Spider-Man panels. You will be able to buy the panels separately, and I hope this is something that PlayStation continues to do because
People were doing this,
like
and they
the
started.
360.
Well, people were
you do it with
making
360. You can like
You
swap
can
a skin.
snap off. You can snap off
I didn't
the
know that.
faceplates.
The front
I had
plate,
the front panel. You can swap off the faceplate, and I had like this really nice wood grain one. It was really cool.
That's dope.
There was a company making replacement sides for the PS5, and Sony sued the shit out of them. Like, you're not allowed to do that.
Well, they
because
should
we're going to
be-
do it eventually, and we're going to charge you too much to have the Spider-Man splatter with the spider logo.
Well, the
on
problem is that when you're such a big company, you're not creating niche products that at a certain level, because then you pay like a premium for it. They would release these en masse, and then they'd probably charge a little amount, but then they'd just be sitting in stores because
Yeah.
most people aren't going to fucking do it.
I hope they make more designs because I would like to buy a Witcher one for my PlayStation. If I could get the fucking wolf emblem on the side of my PlayStation, it looked
cool.
dope as fuck.
Is your PlayStation 5 vertical?
No, because my dog knocked it over. Remember?
So where is it, on top of something, or is it like
It's in a slot.
It's in a spot.
It's not going to live there forever, but for now, because
Because will you even see it if you put a cool thing on the side?
I will when I bring it back out because I don't like leaving it on its side. I want it to breathe a little bit more, but my dog knocked it over.
It actually
and-
functions better on its
It
side.
functions better on its side. You just want to make sure that there's space for it to breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like the PS2. I don't know anybody that stored it vertically.
No.
I did. Or my friend did.
Are you your friend?
Yes.
The last bit of Spartacus.
No, my ex stored it vertically.
Okay.
So I technically owned it, I guess.
Spartacus plus premium.
The last thing is Neil Druckmann is taking over Naughty Dog, co-president of Naughty Dog. Evan Wells announced his retirement, and co-president Neil Druckmann will be the sole president now of Naughty Dog. Wells has worked for Naughty Dog for 25 years. He came on as a lead designer on Crash Bandicoot Warped and then worked on the Jack series. He's
Been
made
there for a long time.
some incredible games.
Yeah.
He's overseen some incredible games. Obviously, Neil Druckmann is the director of the Last of Us series. He was a writer on Uncharted. He also worked on the Jack series, so he's been around for a while.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Neil.
Listen to our Raw Dogs episode about the history of Naughty Dog.
This makes me think about that classic philosophical question where if piece by piece a ship was replaced.
The ship of Theseus.
Is that the ship of Theseus, and all of it's been replaced slowly over time?
Is it the same thing?
These companies, these Blizzards, these Naughty Dogs. If no one's there from the origins, like they're still Naughty Dog, but like it's just weird to think about. Like Neil Druckmann has been there for a long time, but
Yeah, since like
since Warped, and Warped is a good game, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't played the Last of Us games because I tried and they didn't work for me.
two of my favorite games of all time.
Great Netflix series,
Uncharted series. No, HBO.
whatever.
Fuck Netflix. They ruined The Witcher.
I still have yet to watch the second part of the new season.
I
We'll
won't.
save that for
I'm
doggies.
not even going to watch 3 because why will I get invested? Henry Cavill is the best Geralt we could get, and we're getting. Now I'm going to stop. We're gonna. That's it.
Also,
That's
doggies.
Spartacus.
We're talking about Castlevania for a second.
Oh, nice. Friendo.
Ninfrendo.
It's called Pikmin 4.
It is.
heard
It
of
is
it?
legitimately called Pikmin 4. I could even incorporate this into my "What have we been playing?"
Do you have anything before that?
Not a lot that's even worth saying, and I think they are just riding their high right now.
I've heard rumors about Switch 2.
They keep talking about it. There are market analysts who are talking about because I'm so tired of hearing about this. There are market
Until
analysts.
Nintendo says something, it's hard to get excited.
It's really hard to get excited about it, but because they stealth drop this shit. They announce a direct and you don't know what it is, and then they'll announce a new system. That's basically how it works. That's what happened with the Switch, and the Switch blew up like crazy. So they're going to be waiting for it.
Sorry, I'm making a note for Doggies After Dark. Someone want to talk about.
Oh, that's fine. But I was also thinking, like, there are market analysts, and they say, well, they have to, because we are in the swan song of the Switch right now. And I feel like Pikmin 4 might be like the masterpiece hidden within it. I love Pikmin 4.
Might be the masterpiece hidden within the Switch. You're talking about the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, as a whole thing.
A console.
Yep.
That has fucking Mario Odyssey, Metroid Dread, Tears of the Kingdom, and Breath of the Wild.
Yep.
And you're saying the hidden, like, killer fucking game is Pikmin 4.
It might be, yeah.
That's pretty exciting.
I've seen some gameplay, and I have never seen a Pikmin game before in my life.
Oh, really?
I,
Oh,
I
had
shiver even talking
no
about
idea
this
what
game.
to expect.
I forget how young Tyler is. He's only 13.
We got to wrap this up. I got summer school.
These booty shirts are
And
questionable.
then Bible camp. I forget.
Yeah.
Where'd you put your skateboard? No,
His mom dropped him off on the way here.
She's going to be here soon, guys.
so the market analysts, they are saying like Nintendo's kind of wrapping this shit up. And they're doing it intentionally by releasing a lot of remasters
They've been doing that since day one.
but they're doing it a little differently. They're actually like they're taking older titles. They're not just from the Wii U and pulling them in. It's shit from even before that. Anything they can kind of scrape together, they're gonna fucking take over now. And it's excellent. They get a bunch of people who they outsource the work and they bring it in. But we're not going to see a lot of new Nintendo games anymore. We're
On the Switch.
On the Switch. And that is totally intentional.
But like they announced a new Princess Peach game that's coming.
Yes.
They announced a new, the Luigi's Mansion remaster or whatever.
These are
but
going
Mario
to be-
Wonder, a new 2D
know.
Mario is still coming for the Switch.
I know.
Which people that have played it have said it's one of the best 2D Marios ever made.
Yeah, and that's what I hear too, and I'm so excited to play it. And I'm glad it doesn't have the word new in front of it because the new title
It's like
is
putting
over a half of a lifetime ago for me.
it's
So
like putting a gun to the game's head before you release it.
I know. And I'm getting that game day one, but this year is going to technically be the wrap up and it's going to lead down. I have a distinct feeling that by holiday 2024, we are going to have a new Nintendo system. I don't think they can hit March. I think they actually had to push that back because they're apparently, by my estimation, based on what I've read, about 70% done.
So
Do you think-
Nintendo Switch 2,
Yes.
Super Switch, do you think all your games from the Nintendo
Do you think
Switch...
Mario finally fucks Peach?
I've been waiting so long. Do you think you'll be able to reuse your cartridges from the Switch 1?
You better.
I think backwards compatibility is going to actually be kind of a focus because with the Switch, what you had on your
And
eShop,
people have
and
so
Virtual
many Switch
Console-
games. People are so invested. If they take that out, that will shoot out its knees a little bit.
I think it's still going to be a cartridge-based system. I think that
like
that's
the 3DS to the DS,
Yes.
like the Game Boy Advance
Yep.
to the original Game Boy.
exactly.
It can play Switch games, but also Switch 2 games.
And I think that it will have some level of support within that, but it will also still be at the same frame rate resolution, whatever. It's essentially going to have the same hardware as the Switch hidden within it, like a Wii for the GameCube. That makes a ton of sense. But the cartridges, I think they're going to stay the exact fucking same.
But not be play like it's just you can play all of these and then some of these in the new one.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
That's just how it's going to be. It's going to be the Super Nintendo. Like you could get like the pack that you could play NES games. Was that real?
No.
Okay.
You could play Game Boy games with Super Game Boy.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean though.
It's going to be exactly the Switch, but with a worm light. Like
If the
Advance.
Switch had a worm light,
I admire the balls. That's pretty good.
I had a worm light. I love that thing.
Oh, I loved the worm light.
Yeah.
It was actually required.
It was necessary.
Yeah, playing Pokemon Yellow on the trip to Colorado or something. You're just
Yeah.
like, oh yeah.
Driving up to Michigan.
I should get just a classic Pokemon. I think I have Pokemon Red. I should play it again.
Your battery might be dead, so you can't save.
That's fine. I will beat it in one sitting.
You could. Yeah, it's not super long if you know what you're doing.
Raw Dogs 100, I think we should do a Pokemon Revisited episode.
Revisited, we will.
Because that was episode 1 was Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And since then, 2 other games have come out. Crazy.
We'll go
3.
We'll go back to our roots because there's a rich lore between Dylan and I.
Oh, I can explain everything about Pokemon. Tyler, you have no idea how deep my autism goes.
Well, he's 13. He's never even played Pokemon. He's like
the perfect age for Pokemon.
He played Fortnite when he was a kid.
Did you guys see that I found a Wooper doll? The Pokemon Wooper.
That's too bad.
I found a Wooper Pokemon card in my room the other day.
Jesus Christ. Wow.
I didn't even know I had one.
So Switch 2.
Switch 2.
And then Pikmin 4.
Yeah. Pikmin 4 is astonishing. It is very good. It is on par with 3. 3 is still kind of the sweet spot. But
You think 3 is better than 4?
I think they're equal.
Okay.
I think they're right on the money with each other. Pikmin 4 is substantially more user-friendly. And that's not to say that they're really taking anything away, but a lot of what Pikmin is, it's about the art of Dandori. It's a Japanese idea.
It's the art of Dandori, Tyler. Get your shit together.
It's about
writing this
organizing.
down.
It's about
No,
organizing. It's about organizing tasks in a sufficient manner in order to get the best outcome.
Is
So,
it like that lady who
does
like
it bring? Yeah, what's
the
her
lady
name?
who organizes rooms?
Does it bring you
Marie
happiness?
Kondo?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
She
like it's like
folds the shit out of some
she's
clothes.
Koji Kondo's daughter.
What?
Marie Kondo's Koji Kondo's daughter.
Who's Koji Kano?
She's also not Koji Kondo's daughter, but my joke doesn't work if you don't know who that is. He
Well, now-
made all the Zelda and Mario music forever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Also, she's not. That was a bad.
It was. I was like, oh, that's a weird fact I didn't know. That I should.
You think you would have known that,
You
right?
think I would have? But no, this game is all about like it's Nintendo's version of an RTS, and it is all about making sure you have the right Pikmin for the right situation, and then solving these puzzles within the world using your Pikmin and fighting enemies and bosses. And in this one, you have so much customizability. You are rescuing a bunch of these people. I've come to learn that this game takes place after the bad ending of Pikmin 1, which is crazy.
Think about that, Tyler.
I'm thinking about it.
The bad ending.
Damn.
So it's not even a sequel to 3.
So wait, okay, whoa. Let's talk about the Pikmin timeline continuum for a second. So does it go 1, 2, 3, and then 4 is like if 1 went bad?
Yeah,
That's fucking weird, man.
it's awesome.
I'm in. Sign me up. Like that is
So-
some shit you don't generally
so in the
see.
first game, Olimar.
Imagine if Mario didn't save Peach in the first one, and it's a post-apocalypse where the Toads don't have Peach saving them.
Yeah,
Essentially, what you're saying.
yeah. Essentially,
It's in an alternate timeline.
it's an alternate timeline
Okay.
because a lot of the same characters aren't showing up from the other ones
because they're dead.
because they didn't have to go to the planet, which is Earth, by the way. I also have a few theories. I think Pikmin are people, but there was some ecological / biogenetic disaster that turned them into little leaf guys.
A good Dogcast episode could be the most ridiculous game theories of all time.
That would be a good one.
This actually works though. You're in a world that
But just because it works doesn't mean it's
you're in
it's still
gardens and
ridiculous.
beaches, and you're a little guy, and you're collecting things that have ridiculous names. Like I found my little Game Boy Micro.
Yeah.
It's called something in there, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's called something like Miniature Enjoyment Machine. Because these are aliens that are essentially visiting our planet after all humans are gone,
Yeah.
and they're all little.
Yeah, I saw one of them standing next to a pocket watch.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Olimar is a human.
Olimar is not a human. Olimar is from a different planet. He's a Hokitation.
If you want to go back to like Carl Sagan's Cosmos,
He's a
and
Hokitation.
evolutionary lines, if something is bipedal and has 2 hands and it's got eyes, nose, and a mouth in that spot, they share an evolutionary line at most.
Well, maybe he's
the
another
vampire.
star seed. Who knows, man? Maybe we are all bacteria that came off an asteroid.
The Earth is flat,
It's true.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sonic?
Sonic said so.
Kyrie Irving told me so.
Can we just call you Sonic from now on instead of Tyler?
Actually, you kind of earned the nickname. It's great.
I don't mind the nickname.
When I was making that inscription thumbnail and I was making cards for us, and I thought of putting Sonic as you.
That was the funniest shit.
I laughed.
No, all right. So real quick, when all of a sudden I got a notification on Discord that there was like images being sent. I opened it up, and I was the last one. So the first one I saw was you, then Dylan, then Ruby, and I was like, "Oh, cool, Brad's Leshy, that's awesome." And then you had like the crossbone guy.
You were the bone lord, and that was like the bone character.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I wonder what I'm gonna be. And I was getting excited, thinking like, who am I gonna be? I was like, I'm probably gonna be like Stoat or something dumb. And I was Sonic.
Stoat is cool, but
Stoat is cool. I like Stoat.
you're Sonic.
Or Stinkbug. I mean,
Stinkbug's cool. Too.
Stinkbug's cool too.
But when I saw Sonic, I was like, motherfucker.
Yeah,
it was funny. It made me real life LOL. Like I actually belly laughed
because we're younger gamers. Us three. We're all like
sure.
We're
yeah.
Dylan and I are 15. Tyler's 13.
I'm a spring chicken,
but
ready to lay some eggs.
I've never played a Sega Saturn longer than an hour.
Yeah, neither have I.
And to see you up there getting interviewed with this, like interviewing someone about the Sega Pluto.
Oh, come on, let's not razz him about it.
It's not razzing. It's I've been in that position.
So have I.
I had to dig deep.
And it was funny to hear you say
just Sonic.
Dude, I'm so glad Josh was there.
What's your favorite Sonic game? What's your favorite Sega Saturn game? I like Sonic.
Just Sonic.
It's not razzing. It's fucking awesome.
Oh,
just Sonic.
It's
just Sonic is
content.
to get a good like meme and a name. Day one.
Sonic.
Yeah. You nailed it, dude.
Yeah, it's funny.
It is.
Pikmin 4 though.
I kind of want like a quiz here. Do you guys have any interest in this type of series?
I'll play Pikmin, but I have no super interest.
I think you'll find yourself becoming a fan. And here's the problem. This game is selling pretty damn well. It's more popular in Japan. But
not surprised.
But here's the thing. I got this game day one, and I put it in my Switch. And do you know what happened when I clicked on the icon? Nothing. It played the game. There was no download. This is a Miyamoto game. There was no download. The game was just fucking done. It's what the game is. There's not going to be balancing issues. The game is completely tested, over and done. And
there was no loading screens verifying this, checking DLC, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
it was
until
there.
I'll bring it up with what
it was so refreshing. I legitimately like. I clocked it. I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't happen anymore. I was expecting to like go do some dishes while this thing downloaded.
Tears of the Kingdom gave me that sensation.
Yeah.
When you started it up and the game just happens and it's like the music and like the title screen, like when it does show up, I'm like, only Nintendo does this anymore.
Well, Miyamoto specifically.
Yeah.
He's got that famous quote everyone fucking
when he
throws
dies, video games are going to start sucking. More so.
But Pikmin is his kind of little dream project.
It's his unique nerd project. Like this is for him, not for the people.
It's not for people,
Yeah.
but it's for me specifically.
It's not for everyone. It's for cool people.
Well, yeah, sure, whatever. But this game is such a solid form of where this series would have to go in order to be appealing to more people. And I think he realized pretty quick, you've got to have some like progression trees. It's all about exploration. It's about collecting. It's wonderful. Like
when you say it's where this game needs to go to
stay relevant, yeah.
Would you compare that to like Elder Scrolls moving into Oblivion and Skyrim, making it more appealing to the masses and taking away from some of the hardcore aspects of it?
No, they keep it.
They keep it, but they also add some of those like quality of life things that modern gamers require.
Well, one of the big reasons that people didn't like Pikmin, especially the first one, was that you basically had a 30-day time limit. Not in real life, but in the game, people don't like time constraints because it stresses them out. Because you want to play at your own pace, right?
If I wouldn't mind a real 30-day time limit, but as you were saying.
That's actually interesting. I did play a game like that when the pandemic started.
This game looks really pretty. I'm looking at some gameplay footage of it right now.
Nintendo knows art design.
It looks really pretty.
You can create your own character. You get a dog named Ochi.
I'm looking at him right now.
I saw Ochi for 1 second. I said, I love Ochi.
I have a plushie reserved of Ochi because I love him so much.
My interest is piqued with this because it's not anything that I would ever seek out to play.
Well, I have 3. I can throw it your direction.
This seems like a Tyler game to me.
I think you will enjoy your time with it. I think this is also like it's so hard to gauge people if they're going to like this style of game because it is so uniquely what it is.
He's a strategy guy, though.
I do like strategy games.
This is also RTS. So you are commanding everything in real time.
See, I like that though.
Okay.
Yeah, I could get behind that.
And then what they do is, so the days don't really matter. You don't have like a day time limit, but when you get into these maps, they have these little caves, is what they're called. They're like miniature dungeons with their own set of rules, and time doesn't really pass in these caves. So you have the time to collect everything in there, defeat a boss maybe, and then come back out and get rewards for that. And then the rewards build, and you can upgrade Ochi's abilities, and you get a little drone to like scope shit out.
I saw that. That looks cool.
And just the pressure, with the pressure taken off, it's almost a completely different video game that's better. And I think them ditching, like, they want some sense of urgency, but they don't want you to get messed up over it.
Yeah.
I love it. This is a Dylan 10 out of 10.
That's a high recommendation.
It's a Dylan 10 out of 10.
It's a Dylan Platinum.
If I were to give it like if I were a journalist,
So we'll call it the DP award, the Dylan Platinum.
there we go.
How many DP games?
How many DP stars have you given
How many
out?
DP games are
Dylan
there?
Platinums? Oh, I don't know. I could make a list eventually.
Like 20 DPs? Maybe 50 DPs?
30 maybe.
I've seen a lot of DPs, but
Yeah. Well, my middle name is Patrick, so Dylan Patrick Hoff. Yeah.
DP
DP
Hoff.
DP Hoff.
Yeah, I'm DP Hoff.
It's like DB Cooper,
Yeah.
except way more interesting.
Yeah, because it involves penetration.
Wait, I was talking about video games.
Oh,
what?
shit. What? No.
Oh no, I was thinking penetration too.
Now, there are some little
Qualms.
qualms and foibles, but you can look past them.
Qualms and
pretty
foibles is a
easily.
good name for a topic or like something.
But if I were to rate this on, say, like an IGN, like 9.25.
If you were a fucking clickbait monster.
Yeah. It would be a 9.25. But I think that alone makes it like still kind of masterpiece level.
If we ever did start doing number ratings, I would want to go down to
5 decimal places.
9.273 or something. Like we would go stupid specific.
Yeah, and I don't know, guys. Once I'm done with it, I'll pass it your way, but I'll pass around Pikmin 3 if you want to try it out, Tyler.
We could do a
Yeah, for sure.
we could do a very Pikmin Christmas. That seems like a cool Christmas topic.
that would be interesting.
Yeah. Have you
Also, those remasters came out.
So what we've been playing, that kind of covers what you've been playing. Anything else you want to mention briefly?
I've been playing Cyberpunk 2077 for Tyler's recommendation.
Oh yeah, no, everybody should play that game.
Oof.
I like it.
That game makes me want to, like, there are times when I'm so interested in what's going on. And then there are times where I'm like, can we cut the chuff? What is this? It's not even world building at a certain point. And the way, who writes the dialogue for this? It's so cringy.
I like it.
You know, in
You really you have to really get into V though. You have to like, what did you choose as your base? Like, what was your origin?
My origin, the first time I tried it, but then I stopped playing for Pikmin, was Corpo.
See, Corpo's like if you've already beaten the game
Yeah.
and then you want a different challenge. Like Nomad's probably the best if you're.
I redid it with Nomad.
Nomad's the best because then you're being introduced to the city
Right.
for the first time. I did Street Kid. Street Kid is the way to go.
Really?
Street Kid because the time skip at the beginning
Sure.
is not believable.
The 6-month time
Yeah.
period skip.
So now all of a sudden you're like an expert in the city, whereas being a street kid, you're just kind of inherently like, this is Night City. I know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah.
And it allows you to play like an arrogant asshole.
Yeah.
And so that's how I played V, and I got super into character. And then as the game goes on, I tried to humanize him. So then I really got in the character, and I changed my approach to different characters. And like, it's a really good role-playing game.
I'm excited to play it.
It's a lot of fun.
There are some interesting things. I don't like the investigations.
Do you like all the sex though?
No, I don't care. I don't need sex in video games. It's just
I want to talk about once we get to what I've been playing.
okay.
Okay.
I
Sex made me think about Assassin's Creed.
I am interested. and I'm engaged enough, but it's not going to be like my top priority in terms of like video gaming.
You're there to play games and not just get laid? Is that what you're saying, Dylan?
I want to shoot things.
The sex in the game
I don't
is
play Assassin's
unnecessary.
Creed. I'm going to say I don't play Assassin's Creed for relationship building. I play it probably to experience historical times, but
The sex is not necessary in most games. I do appreciate the fact that you can build relationships in game.
Yeah.
it's funny when the
Sometimes it's executed really well. Sometimes it's not.
we already talked about sex in video games. Raw Dog 69, check it out. But it's funny that like Kratos is like, I'm here for sex. And then there's like Commander Shepard who's like, hey, you want to go to the club? And he's like dancing with you. It's about building a relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And then there's Assassin's Creed like, oh, I here's your lost shield. What's up?
You want to have sex about it?
Yeah, and that's it.
Yeah.
when they finally set you loose into Night City, when you have all like the markers then placed on that section of the map, and you're just like, oh, I'll just fuck around and go over here, and then you realize that, oh, I don't have like the right gun for this, or it's just a lot of it is like it doesn't explain like, hey, this person is gonna tell you to back off, and like you just kind of look at them, but then they're just like, well, fuck you, and then they shoot you, and I'm like, I didn't know I wasn't supposed to be here. The marker was here.
There's a learning curve, and the game is mad counterintuitive for a long time.
Yes, well, I call that a problem. And I'm having a good time, and I like my V. I've made him very adept with blades,
Oh, that's so fun.
mantis blades.
Yeah, mantis blades. I do like just rocking the katana though. I
That's
think
pretty
there's
cool,
something
too.
pretty dope about it.
But I also I'm like a gun samurai essentially with my arm blades, and I'm shooting people, and then I just go up to them and just slice them up.
Yeah, I did blades and handguns.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to go.
Like I just tried
The
to go
stealth-
full John Wick with it.
The stealth in this game is also really bad.
It's unnecessary. I just will run in and chop your head off.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm here for.
You've often said that
Yeah.
about us.
We've
I
been
got kicked
and
out of an
I've-
IHOP once for it.
We've been talking all about Assassin's Creed, whether or not you guys realized it. Stealth not being necessary. It's not. Okay,
But
Assassin's
it's
Creed Odyssey.
Assassin's Creed, Brad.
I do want to address an issue. So, the past 2 or 3 episodes, I have mentioned that I've been playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I have been talking negatively about it. I like this game.
It's a fun game.
I like this game. I don't want anyone to think that I don't like it. I'm 45 hours in, and I don't do that on video games in 3 weeks if I hate the game. It's very unsatisfying in many aspects.
Are you really diving in and focusing on collection, or are you just running through side quests and main quests?
So let's imagine you play until you get off of Kefalonia. And I'm about 8 hours into the game when you get access to the ship and you're on the other side of the map a little bit. The person inside of me that says we can't do anything until we've gotten everything else done takes over. And right now, I just saw Demos 30 hours ago, and I'm like, well, there's a lot of islands. Then there's another island. Then I'm high enough level to go there. So I'm 90% done with the map, 95% done with the map. And it has gotten so repetitive and so not satisfying.
Did you get that feeling, though, about like 20, 25 hours in where like the sense of exploration was very real?
It's a beautiful game. And I do love it.
But once the grind kicks in, that game is hard to play.
The gameplay it falls apart. It's not balanced. And it fails. Assassin's Creed Odyssey fails in education. Other games, they say, hit the back button to learn more about this building. I will do that in other games where it says, like, this is the Library of Alexandria or something. I'm like, I will read 2 paragraphs. You have my attention. In other Assassin's Creed games, or it says about how life in England around Syndicate worked. I'm like, or Unity. I'm like, I'll check it out. Sure. I like learning, which is one of the reasons I play Assassin's Creed. And Odyssey doesn't give you any opportunities other than experiencing the world. But I understand it's also, 500 BCE, something like that. Can I have one as well, Dylan?
Mm-hmm.
And
can I have one as well, Dylan?
I get that. Odyssey is lower on my scale than most of the other Assassin's Creed games. The map's too big. I do want to mention one part about the loading. So versus on your PS5 hard drive versus my external hard drive. I have a very big external hard drive where most things are kept. I kept it on there for a while. Every time I turned the PS5 on, it would have to verify. And it took about probably 5 minutes before it would let me play something off the external hard drive. With Assassin's Creed specifically, other games go quick, but it has so much extra steps. If you put something onto your PS5 hard drive, I can put it in rest mode and play within 5 seconds of opening it up.
Yeah.
If you're listening and you're having issues, put everything onto your hard drive that you're playing on your PS5. You will notice a loading speed difference, a quality difference. It's very quick.
Well, it's the same with my Xbox, yeah.
The sex for Cassandra. So I play as Cassandra, Cassandra.
The best way to play that game.
The only way to play that game. Every single female character gives me a romance option almost. Not all of them. You know what I'm talking about. Like her romance options have been 99% female characters. And then there was one super schlubby asshole dude who gave me the romance option. I'm like, I'm down for dudes. This is the worst dude in the entire fucking game, and you're giving me his an option?
Well, they might make that she's maybe canonically more interested in women.
That's fine. I'm into that. Whatever.
Yeah.
But like also Commander Shepard should be able I want the player to be able to choose who you romance.
Sure.
And for Cassandra to only have the schlubbiest dude I've ever seen.
Are there more?
I've only seen one male romance option for Cassandra, and that bothered me.
Okay, well, I mean, yeah.
I don't know.
You either... I think
she can be canonically only into women. I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
but like
that's fine.
for the only male option to be this like super grody dude who's like asking for help because he's a shithead, I didn't like that.
I think unfortunately that a lot of these games, for the amount of content they have, a lot of it isn't like artistically thought through.
Well, and I know that the romance options were not considered when they made the game, as well as Alexios being a playable character was not considered when they made the game. These were added after the fact because video games need romance options. If Cassandra was just a badass lady in fucking ancient Greece, that's fine. I don't need that, but
because the romance options in Odyssey really don't serve a purpose at all. There's no payoff. There's no relationship building. There's no sense of like.
There's no actual choice making.
Yeah, it's just
you
like
either fuck or you don't,
and it's not like you see a big descripted cinematic scene. It's typically they walk in somewhere, walk out.
And when there comes to dialogue trees, which doesn't happen often, but when you're given the option to tell a kid that she's delusional and needs to change her life, or give her a comforting lie and like, it's okay, your parents are gone and it's okay to have fake friends. There's a situation where the options were confusing. It didn't express that Cassandra would be sarcastic about it or how she would actually communicate her thoughts. And I feel like I just told a kid, like, never grow up and imaginary friends are as real as anything else. Which I thought I was just giving a comforting, like, it's okay to have an imaginary friend when you're young.
Like, it could have in parentheses, like, comfort. Or it could have, like, in parentheses, like,
I want to know
this is the emotion that you're providing.
I want to know what I'm telling somebody.
Because it's text. You're choosing from text. And if you've known anything, if you've gotten a big, long, like, text from your boss, like, you could assume that he's pissed off. Or you could assume that, like, you could assume anything from the context. Like, this needs to be done. This needs to be done. It could be like, this needs to be done. Or, hey, this needs to be done by this time. And
that's, yeah, like a text response, sure, can mean 30 different emotions.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why emojis exist.
Odyssey is emblematic of everything wrong with Assassin's Creed. And also still why Assassin's Creed is fun and interesting.
Wild.
Yep, I still love it. I'm excited for Mirage. I'm excited for Return to Roots because there's zero stealth that I use in this game that often.
I love the stealth aspects.
Am I alone in just not giving a fuck about the present day storyline?
No, you're not.
Prefer just
I'm interested.
Put me in the time frame because every time I get really into the game, hit a big point, and then all of a sudden I'm jet back to present day.
Yeah.
And I have to play some stupid fucking... I'm not following this. I couldn't tell you the story between Origin, Odyssey, and Valhalla.
The very first Dylan episode on Hair the Dogcast, I said, yo, Tom, Josh, I got this guy, right?
Yeah.
We're doing an Assassin's Creed episode. He knows weird shit about cults and stuff. He'd be perfect. That was Dylan's first episode.
Then I rocked it out.
And everyone's like,
I know about
don't bring him
it.
back. I'm like, trust me. No, but like,
there is something to it, but the fact that the Animus exists and they have to have like this, what would you call it? It's basically a framed story.
I'm happy that it's become a meta narrative at this point where we are working for Abstergo, playing the game, helping them research memories.
I like that.
I like that they've gotten to that.
So do I. And the Templars and everything, the lines kind of blur as to who's evil or like the more like
ish.
I mean, the Templars are always the most evil, but
it's shades of gray.
Yeah, well,
I like the modern stuff.
Yeah,
but only because I have played every single game and done research outside of the games. Because if you only play the games, you don't give a fuck.
You don't actually know what's going on because you're going
Desmond
through
is
like
dealing
files.
with the fucking ancient civilization. It's bullshit. All that being said, I just wanted to apologize for anyone who thinks I just hate this game. After playing games like Elden Ring and Tears of the Kingdom, the
really hard
gameplay
to
is
compare.
much less satisfying. The UI is overbearing. I understand why Star Wars Outlaws is apologizing for map size before it even comes out because it's being compared to Assassin's Creed Odyssey. All that being said, I'm 45 hours in and I'm still playing the fuck out of it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a weird duality with that game because
I want to bang a dude and I have not gotten a dude that I want to bang yet. That's all I'll say.
It is a frustrating game.
Maybe you'll find him on Lesbos.
That'd be ironic, right?
That would be.
Yeah.
It's frustrating because it's got flaws, but it is a good game still.
Yeah. Origins is still better.
You can Origins is great.
I liked Valhalla a whole bunch.
I haven't played Valhalla yet. Valhalla and then the newer ones, but we'll see.
I just love Nordic shit.
At this point, I'm invested enough to where I will play every Assassin's Creed game.
Okay.
What have you been playing, Tyler?
Yep.
I've been playing Horizon Zero Dawn because the Forbidden West is on Spartacus. So, and I've attempted to play Horizon Zero Dawn twice before.
Yeah.
And it just never hooked me.
It didn't click with me either.
Those
underground facilities, they can be a real sloggy doggy.
Oh yeah. The conduits or whatever the fuck they're called.
And then I remember just climbing the giraffe guys.
Long necks. Tall necks.
And I was like, all right.
It's a dated game at this point in my point of view.
Sure.
Playing it now because I was working in fucking Tampa, Florida when it was announced. That's how long ago this game was announced.
Wowie.
But I'm enjoying it a lot more now. I really kind of like just lowered my expectations and I made a point of actually getting back to where I was in the game because I played it for about maybe 20 hours the first time.
Sure.
Made it west of Meridian and it just fell off for me. And I think it was because I was doing too much of like collecting and that'll burn me out in a game. Second time I didn't even make it that far. This time I'm further than I've ever been. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Forbidden West. It's nice to have a open world story game that I can play that I haven't played before.
Yeah.
So that's been a breath of fresh air. I like Aloy as a character.
Aloy's cool.
I think
her
she's
child
badass.
model is scary looking.
God awful.
Who approved that?
That's bad.
She looks strange.
Yeah. She's got like she looks like she's wearing a mascot head.
Yes. It is disturbing.
And the acting's bad for it, but once you get to...
Well, you'll notice there aren't like children wandering around this world either.
Yeah, and that always, when you introduce children and then take them away,
you notice
Oh,
it.
wait, no, I did run into some at Sunfall.
Whatever, there's like 4 or 5.
Yeah, there was a little gaggle. Like, they forgot to pull them out of the game.
Yeah.
I'm playing this game solely to play Forbidden West because I've heard really good things about it, and it's been on my back burner because I hadn't beaten the first one.
Sure.
I have never played a game that I forgot so much immediately after finishing.
I love the horse riding and like the arrows and
I enjoyed it.
Specifically hitting parts of a beast in order to cripple them.
And I have my weapon selection, pretty nailed down right now.
Yeah.
I have a lot of status effects I can implement, and I
use the bolo a lot.
Yeah, the sling.
The bola.
Yeah.
It's weird the paradigm shift that happened after the first Assassin's Creed game where that open world exploration became so proliferated in so many games like Shadow of Mordor.
Oh, yeah.
You can just feel the DNA of explore, climb, combat. Like it's everywhere.
But it works on so many people, and that's kind of what your average game player kind of wants. We're a little bit of our own like versions of sommeliers, and I think we sometimes forget that like some of these games, like a topic later, they are not meant specifically for us. We can get things out of them, but they are not made for us specifically.
And on paper, Horizon Zero Dawn is a game that is made for my taste in video games. So for me to give up on it twice, I was like, man, they really fucking missed the mark. So
actually it's a good game.
Yeah, and I don't know what was going on in my life. Maybe I just didn't have time for games, and I spent too long away from it. And I'm like, I don't want to try and relearn it.
We're too busy skateboarding.
I'm excited for open world games to become more refined and polished and pushed out into different areas where there's like this kind of game and then there's that kind of game.
Sure.
I like what Survivor did. Jedi Survivor did.
Where they made it a Metroidvania.
Yeah.
Elden Ring.
That's one end of the scale, and Survivor's the other. Having the complete open world where you can do whatever the fuck you want, like Elden Ring.
I don't have to look at a single fucking thing on my screen ever.
And then
it's a beautiful thing. I love that.
Survivor, where you can get to an area, it's locked. You got to go do something else. The Metroidvania aspect of it, where it's an open world, but like you don't get access to all of it.
Where Batman, and then you have to remember it for later.
Where Batman in Arkham City is like, better not go over there yet. I'm like, you're fucking Batman. Get your shit together.
I know. You already have this.
They got guns, Batman. I get so mad when Batman says, I better not go there yet. I'm like, you're breaking immersion for me. I was Batman, and now I am in a video game.
Other than Horizon Zero Dawn, I didn't jump into it right away after Indie Games Month. I refreshed the palette with some Crusader Kings.
Oh, yeah?
Because that's always fun. And then I got violently drunk one night and played City Skylines for the first time.
Oh, you must have been bad.
Fucking whoops.
Yeah. No.
City Skylines is fun.
No, I mean, whoops, falling into that game when you're drunk.
Oh,
no, that's not a game I could play drunk.
It was like
I can't design a city's infrastructure when I'm sober.
Well, you start out with a small town first.
I went on like a 3-day, like just playing it nonstop for a minute.
Okay, brainstorming session. Instead of City Skyline, Red Dead Redemption. Imagine dividing, like creating a city in Old West times, like Sim West.
What if you could design the city and then have it progress through the eras?
Ooh, I like that.
That sounds fun, right?
Yeah.
Anno 1880 is actually a lot like that. I played that for a solid week straight, and it's fun as fuck. Like, it's interesting. And time does actually just start to move, and then papers get released, and you're supposed to be like this mayor of this town, and you're supposed to be helping shit out. It's cool. It'll progress through eras. It's kind of like Civ a little bit, but more real time.
What did your city look like?
It was just
a cock and
it
balls.
was just
It was the giant shape of
it was just the grid system as best as I could make it. I had traffic problems pretty quick once I hit about 10,000, but I was violently drunk when I started playing it, and I was listening to Lust for Life, Iggy Pop's album, so I named it Iggyville, and I mean, I didn't do too bad. Looking back at it, not a bad town. But I'm excited for Cities Skyline 2 this October.
Those games are great.
Yeah.
They're beyond my pay grade is how I describe them. That's also a game I'd want a keyboard and mouse for.
It is hard to do on the controller.
It's really hard to do on a controller.
And that's the kind of game I mentioned this, I think, to you, where I would much rather watch someone's 30-minute video describing how they created the perfect city. Mm-hmm. It's like Minecraft. Like, I don't play Minecraft, but I can watch somebody like, this is how I created this, and they'll give you a tour of what they did and how they made it. I'm like, appreciated, I get it, but I don't have time to.
I did stop playing it pretty quickly and moved into just watching. There's a city planner on YouTube who does different series, and it's City Planner Plays.
Yeah.
And he'll start, this is how I'm building the city. This is why I'm building it. And he's like really fucking good at the game. So
he
it's
went to school
so
for it.
enjoyable.
Yeah.
And it's like without the mouse though, making curved roads is a pain in the dick.
It's holding triggers, right?
No, you can you can freeform it, but with the analog, it just doesn't make sense. And you're constantly using the analog to try and get the right. You're bouncing back and forth between the measurements, and it just doesn't work very well.
No.
I'm hoping they improve that for the sequel.
The game is designed perfectly for one setup, and putting it into another setup immediately takes away from it.
I am most likely going to buy the next one on Steam.
Sure, yeah.
And just not fuck with the console version.
Also,
no point.
The PS5 can use a keyboard. People forget that
So
all
can the
modern
Xbox,
consoles can just have a key. I don't know if the Switch can, but
No.
the
Actually, yeah.
maybe
You can
but
actually,
yeah, you can hook a keyboard up and a mouse, and you can play those games with those on the consoles that way. It's just they don't explain it because they don't want you to.
But the UI is different, unless you can go in and change it. Because the UI in the PC version,
you can play Doom with an SNES mouse on the
play-
Super Nintendo.
you can play Doom with a Guitar Hero controller. It's crazy nowadays.
These monsters.
These people.
But that's what I've been playing. Crusader Kings. I feel like I'm going to fall real deep in it again.
It's fun.
My son killed me, and now I'm playing as my son.
You're playing as Tyler, son of Tyler.
I did do a run where I named everybody Tyler. That was pretty
That's
funny.
awesome. You're obsessed.
One of my favorite thumbnails.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
No,
I'm going to redo it, but it'll be all Sonic pictures.
These
the whole
games,
way.
these games are always so interesting to me, and much like when we were talking in Indie Games Month about like Don't Starve, these are games that are so deep with their mechanics that it is almost like you have to make this your game in order to be very, very good at it.
Yeah.
And that can be like really satisfying. I am such like I play a game, I move on to the next game, I figure out that game, then I get my fill of it, and then I'm on to the next one.
I like to kind of revel in it for a bit, and Crusader Kings is great for that, because if I go through like a 50-year
That's a
reign as one of the
different game,
kings, and then I die and I move to my heir, it gives you that screen where you can see the progression.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'll go back and be like, damn, I can't believe this guy reigned for like twice as long as the last guy. And
I had a king who was adamant about marrying all of his sisters, and then I just let it happen.
I had a king that outlived.
And then I had we had a bunch of incest babies, and a lot of them turned out to be idiot princes.
How could that happen?
But you got, when that happens, you got to lean into it too, and then play crazy, because that's what is fun about that game.
I made my own Nero.
Yeah.
Because it's accurate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Call of Duty, huh?
Yeah. So do we want to talk about some Call of Duty?
I do.
I have opinions, sure.
So at first I was like, we'll just do a review of Call of Duty, but there's a million fucking games. And at a certain point, it's just rinse and repeat. So I thought it was more interesting just to go into the origin and kind of bring it up to when it hit its pinnacle, and then just touch on a few things that make the game what it is currently.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to hear your thoughts on when it hit its pinnacle, but let's start at the origins.
Okay, the origins.
Before we start, can we talk about our experiences with Call of Duty? I think
yeah,
that
that's
would be
probably
actually pretty valuable, so we know the base level of where everyone's at.
I'll go.
Yeah, I'll talk first. I love like the Call of Duties from like the 2000s. I think they're actually like legitimately like
2000s.
fucking fabulous.
When you say 2000s, PS2, PS1? Is that what you
Up
mean?
until 360. So we're talking about the Call of Duties basically from, I would probably say, 2004 to about 2010. That's my sweet spot.
Because Call of Duty 2 was Xbox 360, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
And I played that
was there
one.
multiple Call of Duties before that? Was
Yes,
there like
there were.
Oh, we'll
okay.
get into it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So I
I don't know.
and they were all basically World War II games. That is essentially what...
That's the most playable war.
I know, it is the most playable war. You get to shoot Nazis. It's great.
I don't even feel bad about it.
Morality free.
Morality free. And then you storm the beaches of Normandy like 20 times. And I enjoyed
In
them.
this one, we got Normandy.
But then in 2007, Call of Duty 4 kind of blew shit up.
was that the first one that went to modern era?
Yep.
Okay.
Modern Warfare.
Tyler's like, wait, save this.
Oh yeah, I got it all
But it's
written
fine.
down here.
No,
But it's fine talking about it.
Let's hear.
And I think that game is brilliant. Like the storyline was actually really dope. You had like different mission styles, and the story was kind of a political thriller almost, which I thought was pretty cool. And then, when I went to like college and I thought, oh, video games are just a little boy's hobby. And then immediately I was like, I gotta play like these games.
How long did your thought process last there? Where you're like, video games are for children.
Oh,
was it like 6 months? Was it 2 months? 3 months?
Yeah, and then I got
you got the
Final Fantasy
Pokemon
Tactics
game.
Advance 2.
Okay.
But yeah, that's exactly it. Like, I was just like, I don't want to make art no more right now. And I need something to fucking blast my mind with.
Yeah.
Wash it clean. And video games are my escapism. They are my way of, like drawing myself out. So it didn't last long.
I'm going to have a kid in 30 years and it'd be like, Dad is just drunk playing fucking Assassin's Creed 35 right now.
And you're just like, yeah, I hope I get to see nipples in this one.
I haven't banged a dude yet this game.
This game's garbage.
This game sucks.
And you're a giant exoskeleton.
This is 20 years ago when exoskeletons were new.
Look at my big Robocock, kids. No, Grandpa, you've shown us it before.
Get out of here.
What is your experience with Call of Duty?
I love Call of Duty. Single player would be. I mean,
Then you're
there's
getting in the weeds of what the actual good single player ones are.
also you're getting in the weeds of what Call of Duty is to people.
Yes.
Call of Duty 2 was my first one, and the first time I played it, I was stoned out of my mind. And I played Call of Duty 2 on the 360, and it was awesome.
That was a
intense.
release title.
It was intense. It felt like war, but what stuck with me was that I liked the way the guns felt, and I liked the way that the gameplay worked.
Yeah.
It was immersive in a way that first-person shooters were not before. And PS1 shooters sucked. If there were any, they weren't great. Like, Doom is Doom, and Quake is Quake. Those were of the era, but the 360 era, the PS2 era,
What we could call like where the real first person shooter boom
the boom
really popped off.
when they became just everywhere.
Ubiquitous, yeah.
Halo was like the first one, but like Call of Duty had such a unique duck and cover feel, and when you pulled up a gun, and you looked down the sights for that first person.
I love looking down sights.
I loved it. I loved that feel and the different guns, and I loved Call of Duty 2, and I couldn't tell you which ones I've played. Because at this point, I think 2/3 of the games that have come out, I have gotten free at some point through various Game Passes or Golds or whatever. Because, when Call of Duty 19 comes out, Call of Duty 18 is free. Because they want you to get addicted to 18 and realize you want the next one. I love this. I love that about them. And that's when I will play them, when they become free.
Yeah. The people who want to buy in are going to buy in.
I love the way the games play. I've never played them online for more than an hour because it's
Because you cry.
it's not crying. I cry all the time inside my heart,
Oh, well.
but not out loud through a microphone.
That was fucking beautiful.
When a 12-year-old is poning me, I don't cry to them.
When you get noob tube by the...
I cry at night when my eyes are closed. When I'm thinking about it later. I don't like the games for the multiplayer aspect. I know that they're tight and they're fucking good.
I like it localized, like a LAN.
With friends. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But what I like is the war experiences and the historical aspect. We're like, this is this war at this location.
Yeah.
I'm into that. I'm into the period accurate guns. I'm into modern warfare. I've played a fair number of those. I like the experiences. I wouldn't mind Call of Duty and other wars, but it's fairly limited to a few certain wars. But I like them. I've only played maybe half of them single player.
Sure.
But I like Call of Duty. I don't play them religiously, but I tried to play one recently, and there was like 35 fucking hoops they wanted me to jump through before they told me I don't have the right thing downloaded for this certain story mode or something. And I said, I just want to play your game, and it was free,
You're
and
making
you're
this
making
impossible.
it not possible for me to
Yeah.
play your free fucking game.
Yeah, they definitely have made it much more difficult.
If I see a giant clogged opening menu where they're throwing shit at me, I hate it.
You also need about 9,000 gigabytes of free space to download these games nowadays.
Yep.
Because they want it to be the only game you play.
I don't like that.
No. My experience with Call of Duty is it starts at World at War.
Sure.
Well, I had Call of Duty 2 on the 360 for a
as-
launch title.
As it was called.
World at War is 3, though. right?
It's Call of Duty, Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty 3. Then, no, I think World at War is after Modern Warfare 1.
So you like Call of Duty WoW?
Yeah. Well, I've had 2 on the 360 as a launch title. I liked it. I enjoyed the story mode. But when I was in high school, World at War, Modern Warfare 2 was the game you played online. And I played hundreds upon hundreds of hours of online play in these games.
Okay.
And I really enjoyed it. But back then, it was Xbox Live, and it was all my friends from high school and middle school. We'd get home, get online, play all day, go to school, go home, play all night. You know, it was a sense of community, and I was playing with the same people. It's
about who you play with as much as what you're doing.
Yes. And it was a real sense of camaraderie, and like we were all having fun doing the same thing. That was some of the best nights I've ever had in my life. I look back on them very fondly. But then nowadays, multiplayer, I do play with my brother. Brett, he plays Call of Duty almost exclusively on his PlayStation.
Yeah.
And I'll jump into the reboot of Modern Warfare or Cold War or Vanguard with him. And I like playing with him, but that's the only way I'll play the present day ones because there's...
Online or just like the co-op
Online.
story mode? Okay.
Online.
Yeah.
There's such a skill gap nowadays.
It's not fun. It's not balanced. If it was like newbies with newbies, I could enjoy it more.
Well, they did
ranking.
that.
I like ranking systems, but I've never had that experience with Call of Duty. Whenever I go online, I feel like it's horribly mismanaged.
Well, they did do a ranking system for, I believe, Modern Warfare or Cold War, and people were purposely tanking to get into new games because it only took into account like your previous 10 games.
That's dumb.
So if you started doing good, all of a sudden it would throw you in a lobby with people who are just sweating Mountain Dew.
I get that.
That's a good concept.
I get the idea. In practice, it can be exploited.
Yeah, and it was exploited. But I've played a lot of multiplayer. I've played the majority of the campaigns up through, the mid aughts. What are they? Aughts 2010 to 2020?
I don't know where anything is anymore. They're just remastering old Modern Warfare games at this point, so I don't know what number it's on.
Do you know? I couldn't tell you.
Probably 30, 20. How many Call of Duty games are there?
They've been putting out one a year essentially since
2010,
03.
Since 03, okay.
Yeah, essentially about one a year.
So there's a lot of Call of Duty games after the first one before Call of Duty 2.
I didn't even get halfway in my notes before I was like, we're not going to talk about all of them. And I have 8 pages.
Yeah.
But we're going to breeze through it pretty quickly. There's some highlights that I wanted to hit.
The Dogcast is for rousing discussions.
Yes.
Not a shitload of numbers and details.
No.
That's for raw dogs to horribly hate themselves.
But Call of Duty does have a very interesting origin story, in my opinion.
Okay. Because World War II is interesting.
It is. I like it a lot.
Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
So the origin of Call of Duty actually doesn't even start with Call of Duty. It starts with a different game. And that game is Medal of Honor.
Oh. Is it an offshoot?
Essentially, the origin of one of the best-selling video game franchises of all time is actually... It starts with Steven Spielberg.
Hate that guy.
Spielberg founded DreamWorks.
Just kidding. I love Spielberg.
Do you remember back when like movie studios were just setting up game divisions like Disney Interactive, DreamWorks Interactive? Like, I could name a few of them.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But Spielberg had DreamWorks. He founded it with Microsoft, and they made
Kung Fu Panda and then a bunch of bullshit.
He saw the potential in video games a lot earlier than other filmmakers and studios.
He has never got to properly create a video game that he loves either.
Well, he watched his son play 007 GoldenEye, and he was like, that's pretty fucking neat. If I could marry that with my interest in World War II, I bet you I could make a pretty fucking solid game.
I like to imagine Spielberg drinking a fucking Coors Light, watching his son play a game, and he goes, that's pretty fucking neat.
Yeah, this bro rolling in his bed of money.
That's pretty fucking neat.
That's pretty fucking cool.
And he looks over to fucking, what's her name from Indiana Jones 2, his wife.
What's her name?
Willie Scott, whatever her actress's name is. Like, hey, that's pretty fucking neat, huh? She's like, whatever, Steven.
So he had the idea to make a World War II first-person shooter.
Okay.
And he is fresh off the release of Saving Private Ryan at this point. So he comes up with the concept and the story for Medal of Honor.
It's weird how I feel like, I mean, besides you just saying that, Call of Duty, after Saving Private Ryan, everyone's like, yes, put me in Normandy.
Yes.
Except for all the veterans, you're like, you don't want that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Band of Brothers is also going to come out during its World War II run, which is only going to further compound that interest.
I've never seen Band of Brothers, and
Fantastic.
I've heard it's one of the best.
So Medal of Honor is released in 1999 to critical acclaim, but not financial success right away. And many critics are like, the level of historical accuracy, detail, like the honest violence, like critics were saying that video games they're now able to tackle mature subjects like World War II. Like this is possible
We
now.
can go to the island of Lesbos in Assassin's Creed.
We've come a long way.
We're there.
So the game was obviously very successful. A lot of the developers that worked on it said it's the first marriage of film and game for a cinematic experience.
I can see that.
Then they got greenlit for a sequel, but they sold the publishing rights to EA, and then the game started making money. So DreamWorks was not doing great. They put out a game called Trespasser in 1998, which led to the sale to EA. So now EA has their hooks in Medal of Honor. And Steven Spielberg stuck around to make Allied Assault at the turn of millennium. So now we're at the year 2000. And for that, he had a production company called 2015 Incorporated to help them develop the game.
Now, Steven Spielberg was trying to make a Wii game for a while, right, Dylan? It was like you throw something at
Boom blocks.
Boom blocks. Okay.
Came out. It's pretty good.
I remember just seeing articles about Steven Spielberg being into games about that.
He wanted to kind of... He wanted to see what it was all about. Let's put it that way. I think this was just him dipping his toe into like another idea. I think Steven Spielberg is well known for being a very powerful producer. And I think having his name attached to things is actually like,
after you make
can get more funding, you can get more everything. Because if someone like him has your back, then it's automatic moneymaker. You can put him in the credits.
It's not automatic moneymaker, but it's automatic.
Clout.
There's something is clout. Because he made that BFG movie, which no one fucking saw, which I've never seen either, and I want to see it now that I'm mentioning it.
It's not good. I watched 30 minutes of it.
So the other night, Carly and I watched not Indiana Jones. We watched Ace Ventura 1 for her first time. She fucking loved it. Last night we were watching Ace Ventura 2. I'm like, she's not laughing at all. She was asleep.
Were you drunk, Bradley?
Yes. Also, major tangent. We were out at the beach using an inflatable paddleboard, and this other guy in a paddleboard comes up. He says, "I'm going to hang out with y'all." And we're like, "Sure, whatever." And then he said he was a pilot, and he was my age. I'm like, "All right, now I'm very interested." He owns a private plane. He says he's going to take us for like, he does hot shit stuff. He was in the air show. He's like, "I'll take you for a flight anytime you want." So
that's exciting.
Excited for that. He also said Flight Simulator is very good, except that they do flight when they're doing training. They're in like an super realistic, like they simulate all the motion.
Yeah.
He says Flight Simulator is perfect, but
you have to feel it.
On top of that like motion simulator they do. Call of Duty and Spielberg though.
Yeah. So Spielberg has released Medal of Honor. Medal of Honor Underground came out. Now Allied Assault is out. It's a critical and financial success for EA.
Yeah, it was.
Developed by 2015 Games Incorporated. After Allied Assault came out, a lot of developers at 2015 were unhappy with their contract at EA. Sound familiar?
How could this happen?
Yeah. Fucking EA being
You mean
garbage.
Electronic Arts?
Yeah, the same company.
Oh, no.
Grant Collier, Jason West, and Vince Zampella left and went to Activision, and they were like, yo, we want to fucking make a war game. And they formed Infinity Ward.
Okay.
So that's how Infinity Ward came to be. Fresh off the heels of the success of Medal of Honor series, which was credited with pioneering the cinematic World War II first-person shooters.
Sure.
So they started development on a new game they called the Medal of Honor Killer, which would later go on to be called Call of Duty.
Yeah.
So since Medal of Honor is the pinnacle of cinematic first-person shooters, it's no surprise Infinity Ward wanted to dip their toe back in because you have, I think it was about 20 developers at the beginning
Sure.
that were like, we're going to make our own fucking war game. We're going to do it better. Activision gave them like $1.5 million and took like a 30% stake in the company in order for them to make this game.
You know, the crazy part about all this, and it's something I've been thinking about in context of the 2000s, is that there was a huge spike in nationalism that has not died down since
That's true.
2001.
I didn't even think about that.
I read an article about how the Dixie Chicks started the downfall of country music because the Dixie Chicks spoke out against George Bush.
Yeah.
And they were so promptly canceled and ridiculed that all country music pushed extremely hard into nationalism because of the Dixie Chicks making one comment against Bush.
Try that in a small town, right?
Well, I mean, it's what you're talking
I
about,
know.
like that push to nationalism and stuff.
But it's never stopped, and it's just a growing hyper. It's a hyper fixated ideology because you can get into the psychology of it, but religion is dying in general amongst people our age and younger. It's just going away.
Try that in a
And-
small town.
But the need to be a part of something and have something to believe in so strongly makes you more susceptible to shit like nationalism, because if you feel like you're the odd man out and you find a bunch of people who also believe they're the odd man out, then, you know, I mean, this doesn't truly relate to Call of Duty, but it also it signifies the spike in what this popularity is going to end up becoming.
Imagine they made a Call of Duty game where America was the enemy.
Oof! Wow.
Never.
I mean,
Fucking never.
I was
Fucking sign me.
I played a Battlefield game where I was the Japanese.
Call of Duty 2035, where America has gone off the deep end.
Sure.
And
That'd
it's
be
like,
welcome.
and it's precious.
You know, you would end up being just a revolutionary in the storyline.
Yeah, you'd be pro-America while being anti-America.
Yeah.
Pro-American actual ideals and
Yep.
but against a corrupt fascist government.
Pro-American ultranationalist.
Yeah, Call of Duty is great. There's not enough Homelanders in it, though.
Oh, not nearly enough. No.
Not nearly. I want to be flying
Need
around
more.
with, or even like a Superman with like heat vision eyes, not laser eyes. I would prefer that.
I want to melt your tank, not burn your body.
I don't want laser eyes.
No.
want
I
heat
think
vision.
what's also really cool about this in particular is that this is the era where games actually started becoming, especially like playable. Like you had 3D games, but they were kind of like they were hit or miss.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
people
you
still
remember-
forget.
You remember 007 GoldenEye? That game is janky.
That game sucks. I never liked it.
And Medal of Honor was a massive improvement not long after. I mean, it came out on PC and eventually was ported over to the PlayStation, but
The PlayStation version is actually pretty good.
What's the weirdest war they've done in Call of Duty? Is it always just like too modern or Vietnam? Is it always
they've
like
done
Middle
Cold War stuff?
Okay, because it's modern stuff is all Middle East.
They did
Mostly.
No,
yeah.
not really. There's a lot of you go to several locations that
they've
are pretty
been
prominent.
all over. Yeah, they have the Russians invade America at one point. That was pretty wild.
I played a game on the Xbox,
And we know they'd fail now.
Yeah.
So it kind of seems like they were pumping their numbers.
outside of Medal of Honor and Call of Duty. What's another big war?
Battlefield.
Battlefield.
Battlefield-
Because I played Battlefield 1 a lot.
Battlefield 1
1
is so
was the
good.
shit.
It's my favorite war game.
To me, that's the pinnacle.
yeah.
You're talking
war
about the
games.
World War I game that came out like
Battlefield 1
8 years
literally
ago.
won.
There's
Yeah.
one where you're playing
Yeah.
this hotshot pilot, and
Yep.
you find out afterwards he made
Yeah.
up all the stories.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the best thing.
And then you're like a messenger.
And you're out in
Yeah.
the desert, and you're like on a horse,
The
and you're like
Bedouin,
attacking a
yep.
train. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. There were some interesting stories
and
in
what-
that one.
was it
the driver, the tank driver?
Was it the most recent? What was the
most recent-
recent like war game that was like there was like
2042.
Battlefield.
Yeah,
Was that Battlefield 2042?
2042, yeah.
It looked like shit.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's online only, and it was buggy as fuck on the.
Yeah.
I think that they just fixed some of
There's
those
a huge
bugs.
revolt and people hate it.
Okay,
Which is why they haven't released one since that, and that was 3 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, so Infinity Ward's working on the first Call of Duty. They wanted to do a few things to distance themselves from Medal of Honor, and this is where the DNA of Call of Duty begins. Because now you have a new company trying to make their own game, and they did some really cool stuff for the time that has only been expanded upon. For one, they ramped up the cinematic storytelling by having you play 3 different campaigns. You played as the American, the British, and the Soviets in World War II. So now you're seeing the war from a different front. They're changing venues on you, so it gives you a much more immersive experience. They also introduced AI-controlled allies that would help you and support you. It was no longer the Medal of Honor lone wolf, one-man army.
Well, it's all it could run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you had a sense of squad.
Yep.
You're in multiple battlefields. The storytelling has been driven up.
The Siege of Leningrad, I remember that one.
It's fucking wild. Looking at old gameplay footage, it still looks like a fun game.
It is still fun.
Seeing the AI climb over fences and clear obstacles is something that Medal of Honor was not even close to being able to do at the time.
No.
You could suppress enemies with cover fire. They had dynamic like AI environment shit that would happen, so that every single time you played the game, something new. It would be a new experience essentially. So Call of Duty comes out October 2003 for PC. It's a smash hit.
Yeah.
It won Infinity Ward Rookie Studio of the Year. IGN gave it a 9.3.
I remember reading this in Game Informer.
It was the eighth.
I think you actually have those Game Informer. That Game
It's probably in
Informer.
the box.
I might still have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the 8th best-selling computer game of 03. It earned $29.6 million in the U.S. alone.
Yep.
For that time, video games making that kind of money, that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Like now we have a different sense of what a good game is, but back then, that's a lot of fucking money for a game.
Yeah.
It took a much more grounded approach compared to Medal of Honor. It was more difficult.
Yeah.
It made you feel like you were fragile and that you could die in the game.
A
Well,
headshot should be a headshot.
Yeah, I
Yes.
agree.
And
I
Assassin's
get
Creed
pissed off
Odyssey
in
as
video
well,
games,
and
yeah.
fucking any video game.
Yeah.
Something to your dome should kill you. Level
much.
50 versus level 5. Whatever.
Or like, say, if you get him in the jaw or something, like maybe not, but you're still down on the ground and you're fucked.
yeah.
One of the things they don't do in video games, and I just realized, is that they don't, like, Last of Us Part 2 actually does. If you don't get like a clean kill, they're just going to lay on the ground screaming.
Yeah.
And I think they leave that out on purpose because for a lot of people, they can't play Last of Us Part 2 because it's like, okay, I got him in the jaw, I got him in the ear, and he's still alive.
In
Like,
Assassin's Creed, I've killed over 1,000 people.
yeah.
I'm a horrible serial killing monster.
Yeah.
Now imagine if like they also cut to like the family without a kid raising like their dad raising them.
Yeah.
I feel much worse about killing everything I saw.
You know, they're nameless.
Last of Us wants you to feel those
Yes, they want you to.
repercussions.
I'm always curious, like when they'll actually make one of these war games where it's just like, oh yeah, war really sucks. Don't you hate what you're doing?
Every time you kill someone, they cut to their like great grandkid getting like suffering from the fucking repercussions. somehow.
to see strudel. I don't need to understand what Grandpappy did.
Watching Inglourious Bastards in a German cinema like this is too close to home.
Yeah.
Call of Duty, the original, also had multiplayer, which is essentially the only way people play Call of Duty now.
Do you know how many multiplayer it was? Was it 4? 4 people? Was it
16 different maps. I think it was 8.
Eight
Maybe
seems
16.
Right. A 4 squad.
Okay.
I believe that's correct.
It had the kill cam, which is... I didn't know that was in the first iteration of the game,
It's
which is
cool.
wild.
Yeah.
you want to kill cam?
It was also created mod friendly. So Infinity Ward actually encouraged modders to improve upon the game, to make
Right.
different game modes and help make it a better experience, which created a very close community around the multiplayer. And that, I think, is something that has added to the longevity of the online multiplayer community. Having it start that early, be that mod friendly and that fun, really sunk its roots in. And that's what we're seeing today. They were able to expand upon that. Obviously, online and multiplayer took off across the board, but interesting to see that it was at the forefront of their mind back then.
Well, it's also interesting because that was only ever going to work on PC.
Yeah, true.
Not until even like 2000. Well, I mean, 2004 Xbox Live worked, but it wasn't like a fabulous experience
No.
at all whatsoever. It was built into the system, but you weren't like. I just remember even playing like Gears of War and just being like, man, this kind of sucks.
Yeah. They immediately started working on an expansion pack
Oh yeah.
in order to bring more campaign missions and more maps to the multiplayer. They tapped a new studio, Grey Matter, who worked on Return to Castle Wolfenstein to help make that.
Nice. Yeah.
It was called the United Offensive, and it came out in 2004. It had the first domination mode and added an additional 11 maps. So now you have 27 maps to choose from, not even including the modded community.
That's cool, actually. And having a variety of maps keeps it keeps everything fresh, and then it keeps people from being too good on certain maps.
Yeah, I like a variety.
I do too. I like being pushed into new maps. It's one of my favorite things in like the Battlefield series too. Those maps are huge. So there are several ways in which you can go about it and capture shit.
They expanded to consoles with Finest Hour, which was the first game on the consoles. It was an essential like reboot almost of the original Call of Duty. You played the same campaigns, but from a different point of view. It was on a console. It wasn't PC. People didn't like the graphics. The multiplayer was meh. And people were like, well, what's going on here, you know? But it's a console, and back then PlayStation 2 was not nearly as powerful as a PC. Fun fact, AC/DC singer Brian Johnson actually voices one of the sergeants, and I didn't know that.
Big AC/DC fan.
Are we going to get out of here, Sergeant? Wow!
But while they were working on that port and the expansion pack, Infinity Ward was already developing Call of Duty 2, which would be the launch title for the Xbox 360, and it was said that like 70% of Xbox 360 owners had that game.
Yes, they did.
I didn't even want it, and I got it.
Yeah.
I loved it, but I didn't go looking.
No, you didn't fucking want it. I mean, a lot of, I don't know.
I'm just wondering what physically Call of Duty games I own. I don't know if I own any physical games. Sorry, go ahead.
They ditched the health pack system in this game, and then we get the red screen effect and health regen, which was a big selling point for the game because no longer did you have to leave a battlefield and backtrack to get health packs. It kept you in the fight. They expanded on the AI.
It's realistic that after you just get shot and wait 30 seconds, your leg naturally heals.
Well, it streamlines the battle.
I understand. I'm with you. It's bad gameplay, but more realistic.
For Call of Duty 2, they actually sent developers to the actual battlefields to get a sense of realism. They started putting a lot of focus on being real.
There are a bunch of nerds running around with fake guns,
Yes.
jumping behind plants.
I got you, Jimmy. I got you.
No, you didn't. You didn't even shoot me.
Yeah, I got you. I hit you with the nerf.
Fuck you. You didn't get me.
They took this so seriously that they scrapped a bunch of maps that were taking place in France because it was nothing like the real battlefield. It was totally different than how they envisioned it. So they actually scrapped portions of the game after visiting the battlefields. They wanted to stay that true to the realism.
Sure.
It's like when the guys who make like Disney movies, they're like, yeah, we went to Maui and now we got Lilo and Stitch.
We thought Hawaii was one way, but after we went there,
It only took us 2 weeks to realize that we didn't know what we were talking about.
turns out Stitch is Hawaiian.
We're going to fast forward here to 2007. Kanye West just put out Graduation. Emo Tobey
Was this
Maguire
before? Okay.
is dancing in Spider-Man 3.
I was 17 and very horny.
I was 17 and very horny.
Treyarch has already produced and
2007?
released Call of Duty 3, and they're thinking we can't just keep making World War II games, right? We gotta take this to the modern day.
We're going to take it to World War I.
And in November of 2007, 14-year-old Tyler's brain was absolutely blown when they released Modern Warfare.
You were 14 in 2007?
Yes.
I thought you were 13.
I was going to be 15. This game came out a month before my birthday.
I thought you
I
were
would have
13
given you
now.
such a wedgie. Not really. I was
this is
actually
a-
really nice.
I would have.
This was a game that I
Fucking
did
nerd.
like chores and shit for and like saved up money to buy. One of the first ones that I can really remember.
A lot of under the bridge.
Oh yeah. It is a big deal. It starts the linear storytelling of the games where now Modern Warfare 2, and 3 are going to tell a cohesive story, bring in recurring characters, and Treyarch would follow suit with World at War and the Black Ops series.
All of their recurring characters that are featured as part of the gameplay, they are fictional, correct? There's no one that's like named.
Well, you got Price. Price is a character that shows up in like all of them.
Yeah, but Price is fake.
But they're fictional, right?
Yes, they do have Ronald Reagan, JFK, Fidel Castro, and Nixon showing up at some point.
Is Ronald Reagan ever going to come to Fortnite, or
Where's
Just
my
fucking
jelly
chucking
beans?
jelly
he
beans
can
at
float
people.
up and just like shoot his heat vision eyes at people, not lasers?
I mean, essentially, Homelander's kind of a Reaganite. piece of shit.
Oh, big time. I would say he's a big Reaganite.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This is the first time they're going to craft their own storyline. So they're no longer using historic events,
Modern.
which is a big deal because now people get to live in this fantasy world of like ultra violence that is fictional.
And despite what you think, you're not just killing brown people in this one.
You're killing a bunch of people.
You're killing a bunch of people, but it's not all just brown people.
And this is the game where the multiplayer really expands. So this is kind of where we're going to start leveling off the Rise. They overhauled the rank system, so now you can start unlocking guns with your rank as it goes up. You have kill streaks. You can customize loadouts.
Sounds horrible.
It was kind of a big deal.
I think that
It was cool.
I think that you should war should be equal and loadouts shouldn't happen in video games.
But the first time I got a tactical nuke in the game and then I went to school the next day, like people were actually psyched to see me. That's how big of a deal it was in my hometown.
Oh, okay.
Because you had to get like 25 kills without dying. That's fucking hard to do.
Try that in a small town.
Fuck you. It's once you start having loadouts and you like, it's not a balanced gameplay to start out the match.
Yeah, because if you're level 1, you don't have all the attachments.
It
you
is
don't have
like-
the good guns.
That's when Halo fell off. When Halo 4
Yeah.
came out and there was
Yep.
a difference between how much hours you put in and experience
What you could
or
do.
money you paid.
Yeah.
That ruined the game for me. And once you can earn different loadouts, the game is less fun in a big way to me.
Yeah. Call of Duty has managed to keep it pretty even keel, though, with the disparity between weapons as you rank up.
But there are like significant advantages to certain weapons inherently.
Yeah, like the AR-15 in Modern Warfare 2 is the
Right.
best gun in that game, and you have
Yep.
to be like level 40 to get it.
Yep.
Then we get to the point where you have two studios releasing a game year on, year off, Treyarch and Infinity War.
And therein is the downfall.
Treyarch would go on to develop World at War and the Black Ops series, while Infinity War went with the Modern Warfare series.
Yep.
And this is where the numbers get crazy, because the games just kept getting more and more popular.
We don't even need to explain this because
Yes,
this
everybody
just
knows.
it ends up becoming yearly releases. I think it truly culminated in Ghost, where people were just like, we are tired of this shit.
The first instance I found of Call of Duty grind becoming a thing, or the fatigue, was World at War.
Yeah.
That's where people were like, this is the same game, just kind of reskinned. And they went back to World War II, which they felt like was a step backwards. But
It's like a Madden game.
World War II, or World at War, introduced Nazi zombies, and that's big claim to fame.
Yeah.
Which is a game mode that only
There's no
people
zombies
only
in
play.
World War One or Two. There's no zombies there.
I don't know. You weren't there.
It's true.
I was.
Whoa. I'm sorry, dude. I didn't realize you served. My bad. I feel
a
really
veteran.
bad now.
The
You just saluted with your left hand like you were hiding from the sun.
the Treyarch games would take a darker tone and do the Black Ops storyline, and then we get Modern Warfare 2, which is kind of what I wanted to get to. That is where I think the rise of Call of Duty stops. From here on, they just experience exponential growth. But with Modern Warfare 2, it's the first time this game is like really blowing the doors off. Everybody's buying it. It's got, oh my God, it's the same characters from Modern Warfare.
It's got Hamish. It's got
Soap McTavish,
Spangle.
Captain Price. You get Roach in the neck. Roach is in this game.
Kringy Bingy.
They
He's
have-
my favorite character.
he's hidden. You have to find him.
Kringy Bingy lives in your imagination.
He's out there.
And
though.
he's silly.
If you go into the Culvers in WW2 in that one French village, Kringy Bingy's hiding there.
He eats the cheese curds when you're not looking.
This game would make $310 million in 24 hours.
Yes.
And
Modern Warfare 2 was huge.
yes,
It was 24 hours. Is that like pre-sales as well?
in 24 hours is what it said. In the US and UK combined. 4.7 million units.
I don't ever combine UK into my numbers.
It
Fuck
made
you.
Modern Warfare 2 the biggest entertainment launch in history of all time, beating GTA 4 as well as other media types, which means a lot of movies.
Yeah.
I think I have it in here. No, it was Black Ops. Black Ops actually made more money than Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1.
Yep.
Horrible film.
These movies, or these games start
It's actually
selling
good. I liked it too.
ridiculous amounts.
It's actually better than 2.
Kringy Bingy.
And we could get into the weeds with the introduction of Black Ops and all that shit, but the
Black Ops are good.
I wanted to get here because there's one thing in
Representation matters.
It does matter.
There's one thing in this game that could kill it. That Call of Duty could have just been stopped at this moment, but this is where the rise stops, and it is just the mainstay, and that is
Warzone.
Donald Trump.
No Russian.
No Russian.
The level no Russian.
Oh my God,
could have
that is-
killed this game if it was not as popular.
You think that was a controversial?
It was hugely controversial.
It is incredibly
You
violent.
shoot up innocent people in an airport.
I don't remember this being a.
At the time,
I don't remember hearing about it at the time.
I didn't really hear about it that much anymore. But looking back on it from today's perspective, with the obvious,
Were you playing a terrorist or were you playing as an American?
you're playing as
a
a
terrorist.
undercover CIA agent who has infiltrated
With
an ultra-nationalist Russian group.
Okay, so you're with Russians.
And he says, remember, no Russian. Because he doesn't want you to speak Russian, because he knows you're undercover. So in this point, you don't have to shoot any of the innocent civilians, although I did as a kid, because what else am I going to do?
Yeah. It wasn't an objective, but it was a possibility.
It was an experience that you just walk through, and it is bad. There is
really
screams
Dylan
from people who
Klebold
aren't
did that
dead.
shit.
They're crawling, leaving blood stains. It is ultra violent.
Wait, are you saying that war's bad?
This isn't war.
This is a terror.
No, I think it's good. It's not good, but it's a realistic
Terrorist
depiction, and to see that and to see people, I think it's healthy for people to understand that shit's bad.
Yeah. And
It's supposed to make you think, and I think that's actually kind of what they achieved. I actually think
it
I found
makes
a lot
you
of people.
face your own moral compass.
Well,
Are
it
you-
also makes you remember that you're playing a game about killing human beings and not just Nazis.
It's more realistic. It's better.
Yeah.
It's otherwise it's all Looney Tune violence. Like Looney Tunes violence doesn't show someone getting hurt.
Yeah.
Showing people get hurt.
They show them get hurt, but they're surviving. They're not dead.
Yeah, but they hold up a sign and they like walk away. They whatever. But
Yeah.
war has repercussions, and
Had-
I think no Russian is the logical advancement to the point where, all right, let's acknowledge the fact that a lot of bad things happen in war.
Yeah.
Which is 80% of the time.
And from a narrative point of view, this is an excellent storytelling device in the game because it is crucial to the plot of the trilogy. It is what catapults the game forward. It's just wild to me that had Call of Duty not been successful up to this point,
Yeah.
I feel like
They
the
wouldn't have
game
been
could have
able to
got
do it.
buried. We might not have, because people will point at the rise of Call of Duty and they're going to point at like Black Ops 4 with Blackout and the introduction to Warzone.
I don't know if you guys have ever played the game Spec Ops: The Line. It is a story where it is basically Heart of Darkness. It's by Joseph Conrad.
Okay.
I know a lot of things, just so you know. And
Becoming a god going up the river.
and it's literally and it's meeting the Colonel Kurtz of it, and there's a whole thing. It's Nolan North. It's pretty fucking good.
From Uncharted fame.
Yeah, and it's literally about a Dubai that's been superseded by this desert storm from climate change, and you have to go through Dubai and basically just kill a bunch of fucking people. And then at the end of it, there's like this huge reveal, and it's just like, oh yeah, war, it's hell.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't want to say that the games weren't violent before, because
No, they were.
at the beginning of Modern Warfare, you play as a president of some Middle Eastern country who gets shot in the head.
Yeah.
And you're tied to a post. Like, that's the first thing you see in the game. And we could go on and I could tell you a bunch of boring numbers about how many copies Black Ops sold or what engine they used, but
I call it Blops because I'm a real fan.
I feel like
I prefer
Blops.
Blops. I prefer Blops too.
no, Blops is what happens after you eat a spicy burrito.
Blops is what I created. I created Blops. Probably Blops 4 today.
Dude, you made Blops 2 today.
Don't tell him. I know you could.
That is a speed run of what I consider to be the rise of Call of Duty.
If this hadn't been a 3-hour episode, Tyler, you could have had your moment to shine.
I had 8 and 9 pages.
You fucking did it, man.
We just the Dogcast. There's too much we have to talk about.
It's been too long.
That could have been a Raw Dogs.
No, it's not that it's too long. It's the Dogcast is always, we have a lot to talk about. We have news.
No, I'm saying
console
it's
critters.
been too long since we've done one.
Yeah,
That's
I
why.
know.
It's not even too long. Every Dogcast is long. Everyone is like by minimum at least 2 hours.
Honestly, Tyler, this could have been its own Raw Dogs.
And it will at some point, but the Dogcast is for casual, rousing discussions about various things.
Like what you brought to the table.
I agree. No, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's
I
not for
can't-
deep dives. It's for really good discussions about our feelings on games.
And being
I came
shitheads.
over prepared for it, but that's because I knew that Spielberg was involved in Medal of Honor, and that's what catapulted it. And then I went down a few rabbit holes, and it happens.
Absolutely. Yeah.
No, it was great. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, but their Call of Duty is a game that I've enjoyed playing for a long time. I like playing with my
What's
brother
the
online.
last one you really liked?
The Modern Warfare reboot that
Really?
they did.
Okay.
The cinematics, the graphics in the cinematics are fantastic.
Really?
The campaign is super tight, very
Okay.
fun to play. And the online was pretty balanced. I had a really good time doing it. I don't like battle passes. Stop with the battle passes.
It's going to happen
That's
forever, dude.
Controversial opinion. Everyone loves battle passes. And
Yeah,
I
everyone
did
likes
like
pay.
that I could earn enough in-game points to buy the battle pass eventually if I played enough, which I did for that one. But I'm not going to fucking shell out.
One for the road?
One for the road. The Royal Gemstones is in season 3 currently on
I'm going to go
HBO.
ahead and recommend the Righteous Gemstones season
Oh
3.
shit! Yeah, the Righteous Gemstone. I said Royal.
Oh, you okay? I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'll take mine back then.
That's my bad.
Okay.
We're a couple high life, Steve.
A couple is generous.
Fantastic show. I hope you're okay with male nudity.
I am A-okay with male nudity. I went to art school, dude. It's
Then
fine.
you'll be fine.
I'm aggressively pro.
I think it should be fair play.
The Righteous Gemstones definitely gives the male
Do I see
penis
Danny
time to shine.
McBride's dick?
No.
No.
Oh man,
You'll never see the show created.
I got to see what kind of hog he's rocking.
Probably fine.
That's probably all right.
Yeah.
Shit.
I'd recommend Dylan. If you haven't ever listened to Dylan or followed his opinions, check him out. Dylan's got a good thoughts on
try it
things.
out.
I recommend Dylan for my.
That's actually not bad. I'm kind of into that.
Well, you're Dylan.
Yeah, I kind of like.
If
I like
you were
your
against it,
recommendation.
it'd be really weird to
Actually,
me.
no, I really hate it. Now that I think
I'm
about
Dylan,
it.
very anti-Dylan.
Don't listen to me. I'm Dylan.
I'm two solid states of matter next to each other. Let's see. I would recommend How To with John Wilson on HBO.
Okay.
It's these little documentaries. He just basically films in New York and all this other stuff. It's produced by Nathan Fielder, who did Nathan For You, and it's kind of him reflecting on life. It's very artistic. It's really interesting because he catches people doing weird shit all throughout New York, and then he always has something to say. I watched an episode today where he talked to the founder of Bang Energy after just literally driving up to his house.
That dude's crazy.
Oh, he's crazy.
Bang
He's
Energy.
legitimately
I watched a
crazy.
documentary on him. That dude's crazy.
And he drives up to the mansion, and then he's literally just let in because his wife is having their like 5th baby, and he just walks into a fucking baby shower. And then it's him filming this guy as the guy like tours him around his house.
That dude loves to be the center of attention
Oh,
too. So he was
yeah.
probably just like, yeah, come
Oh
on
my
in.
god. And then everyone goes HBO at the fucking party, and I was just like, this is nuts. This is kind of how I want to live my life. And I tend to get myself in these situations, so it's not impossible, but you know, I think this is like a fun reflective series where it's a lot of musings on life, almost to a Joe Pera level.
That's a high recommendation.
That's a high recommendation.
that's up there.
And it's literally all first person, him filming.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Brad?
I already recommended it. I said Dylan.
Oh, that's right.
Check him out. He's great. I love Dylan.
Try me out. Give it a spin.
Hair of the Dogcast exists because of people like you. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions or thoughts on this episode or anything at all, you can reach out to us on Instagram at Hair of the Dogcast.
Make it-
on Twitter.
Make it your own,
at
Tyler. Don't just read.
Hot Dog Cast.
Make it your own. Have fun.
You can also email us at. What's our email?
Hair of the Dogcast.
It's faded. I couldn't read it.
Oh, okay. It's HEIR of the Dogcast.
You got it.
Air of the Dogcast.
Hey, you want You want access to a whole bunch more episodes? You want access to the after show?
You want it. You want it.
Do you even want an exclusive podcast where we discuss movies and TVs called Popcorn Dogs?
It's not exclusive anymore.
Of course you do. They want it. You know you do. Join us at Patreon.
So bad.
Patreon.com
Popcorn Dogs
/Hair of the Dogcast. And thank you so much to our executive producers, Ryan Christinek, Kipper, Brian Ward, Jordan Hoff, and Phil Wright. We love you guys. Thank you so much. Hair of the Dogcast is a proud member of the Tokyo Beat Podcast Network. Make sure to check out all the other amazing shows there. And thanks for fucking listening.
And on the next episode, next week, we have Elden Dogs with Jack Packard, where we discuss the lore of Ronnie the Witch. That has been available to Patreon members for about 6 weeks by the time that this comes out for you. So if you want those episodes in advance, we've already gotten an episode ahead of that, and we're recording another one very, very soon. Discussing Farm Azula, or Farm Azula, or whatever the fuck you want to call
Farm Azula.
Farm. It's Farm Azula. I'm an honest farmer, and that's Azula, and that's coming soon. Otherwise, yeah, this is Here the Dogcast.
I love all of you. Don't forget to wipe your butt.
Or get a bidet.
I don't even know what to say.
There's also dude wipes.
Oh, I love dude wipes.
I don't know, man.
It's like a bidet and toilet paper married each other.
It's cool.
Yeah.
We're so good.
He's deleting it.
Yeah.
He's deleting me and my opinions.
It's not deleting, but it's me to listen to this tomorrow and be like,
Is that word?
was that good?
fascism.
I am the fascist member of the podcast.
I'm the anarchist.
On the next Dogcast, Call of Daddy, option or obsession.
I love it. We love you. Goodbye.